All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. I'm Tony Bruno. I want to introduce you to my fine panel. We'll start with Chris Gonzo Warren.
Hey, guys. I'm a writer and a painter, an artist, and currently my sites are down, but assuming they come back, you can find me at gonzoschool.com.
Next, we got
YouTube.
Dan.
Hey, everybody. I don't want to talk too much about myself personally, but you can find me on Primal Man on YouTube, and you can find me at Mantidote on Instagram. Looking forward to meeting everybody.
And if you need his address or anything, just hit me up in the DMs and I'll send it. Just kidding.
There you go.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Next, we got Frank Pesci. Frank, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. I hope everybody's doing well. My name is Frank Pesci. I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I grew up in the streets of New York City, man. So it was a lot about relationships. It was a lot about finding ways to work with other people. In recent years, you know, I've built some businesses. I built some successful businesses. I've done some things ranging from, you know, brokerage and equity markets and stuff like that on Wall Street to, again, building my own enterprises and trading in cryptocurrencies and trading in different markets, and I've frankly done well with that. You know, my whole thing in life is I want everybody around me to come up. I always want to give people an opportunity to partner with me or to, you know, connect them with somebody else. But I like to see people thrive. I like to see people achieve the highest levels possible and their hopes and their dreams. I hate seeing people who are down and out and hopeless. Where there's a will, there's a way. And, you know, there's always good people that need to come into your life at certain times and seasons to make that dream a reality. So kind of a little bit of a philosophy that I live by. You know, I believe that a rising tide raises all ships. I believe the best days do lie ahead for us, not only as a nation, but as a globe, if we're willing to look for the diamond that lies in the rough, so to speak, because I think that there is going to be tremendous opportunity going forward. So tonight you'll hear from me, you'll hear from these other panel members, and man, I hope you guys can enjoy this broadcast, and thank you for being here with us. Frank Pesci. Find me on Instagram, Frank_Pesci_, a little bit on Twitter. I'm also on YouTube, Frank Pesci on YouTube, and man, feel free to check out my content and connect with me if you so desire. Thanks.
Awesome. Next, we got Martin Otino. Am I saying that right, Martin?
You are, Tony. That's the correct way to pronunciate it.
Yeah, Martin, I'd like to welcome you. Your first time here. I had met Martin at the 21 Summit in Orlando back in October. Martin, if you'd like to give everybody just a quick bio about yourself, and then we'll carry on.
For sure. To keep it brief, I'm a 43-year-old father of three kids, professional firefighter right in the city of Toronto, realtor, and more importantly, a patriarch, a leader of a family, currently going through distress, but learning and growing every single day. And I'm certain that the best is ahead of me physically, spiritually, and mentally. I don't have any websites to drop right now, and I guess that's the introduction I'll give you, but I hold the opinion that the West is the best. We're born free and proud patriot.
Awesome. Well, here's to you, Mark. Welcome. I want to start off tonight, guys, with I got a drink that doesn't qualify. I want to start out tonight, guys, and I know 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of people. I'm not one of them, to be honest. I think 2020 has made me stronger, and I think all the guys on the panel probably have the same thought about that. So I want to ask you guys, what in 2021, what do we have to look forward to? What's something positive that we can reach out to people with?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody wants to start? Go for it.
Yeah, I'll start. I was just talking about this today with my social media guy. You know, we all learned a lot in 2020. We learned what people's real agendas are. We learned what side people have taken. We learned strategies and systems that are used to promote information and to promote outcomes, both in government and in business and in finance and in all the systems of the world. The light is shining on them, and we can see it clearly. We have seen evil reveal itself. We've seen good reveal itself. We've seen our hopes that were placed in maybe in politics or maybe in certain financial systems or systems of this world. We have seen that those are fragile systems, and they're not systems that we can rely upon, because when those foundations are shaken, what do you have? You have a structure that could, in theory, come down very quickly. We've seen people all around the world locked down. We've seen capital controls placed in our banks. We've seen all kinds of crazy stuff. So going into 2021, it is my contention that I'm going to use all that information that I have garnered from this year, both information that's made me stronger or allowed me to position myself to have an opportunity to, engage in those desired strategies and outcome that I hope to promote, and make decisions this year. Like, for instance, I'm going to definitely increase my holdings in cryptocurrencies this year, significantly. And I'm going to do that not only because I believe that there are value in cryptocurrencies, but I'm going to do that because I refuse to play with the system any longer. I refuse to put my money and put my purchasing power into systems that are corrupt, systems that are broken down, systems that fund wars, systems that fund corruption, and all the legacy systems that we have seen. That light has shined on them in this year. I refuse to participate in those systems at the same levels that I had in the past. I am no longer putting my hope in fiat currency that's backed only by debt and bullshit. It ain't going to happen anymore. I'm going to find systems for myself, and I'm going to leave an inheritance for my children's children, just like the writer of the book of Proverbs says. A righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And I'm going to make sure that I put all my energy and focus into not only discovering new systems, promoting new systems, investing in new systems, and building new systems, but also helping other people understand what those systems are so that we can build something that is not tethered to the fallen legacy systems of this world. 2021, we have a choice, friends. We have a choice. The choice is clear. What do you guys think of that? Everybody's shaking their head.
No, you just you're just lagging a bit. That's all. We heard.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man. See, these are the legacy systems we're talking about.
That's all right.
Part of these legacy systems is we need to not be so dependent upon internet connection that's provided to us as utility. We need to create a system of internet connectivity that we own, that we control, that's not subject to a kill switch or latency, because more and more people are on the internet full time now because they're home all the time. The solution lies with us to create these systems, and I believe that we can and will.
Do you think a system is possible without? In other words, is a system like this possible through the airwaves?
Well, Elon Musk is building with something called Skylink.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yes, systems are definitely possible, and there's so many smart people out there. You know, I'm not saying that I'm the one that's going to design, a secondary internet system, but somebody will. Somebody can. And when we find that person and when we see that system coming up, we have a responsibility to get behind it. We have a responsibility to make that thing successful, because we are essentially in bondage to these legacy systems. What would happen if we went without electricity for a few days? I mean, do you know how to quickly take the food out of your refrigerator and store it for, long-term consumption? Do you know how to do that quickly without power? I mean, we really don't know how to do those things because we're dependent upon these systems. So we need to start thinking outside of the box now before we end up in a situation where we cannot communicate, where we cannot provide for ourselves outside of these utilities. And I'll tell you a quick story. Even when I was getting my Series 7 back when I worked on Wall Street, our instructor who was teaching us the test material, he was in the USSR, Soviet Russia, a couple of days before the USSR collapsed. And when he got there, he had said that the ruble was 1 ruble for 2 US dollars. So it was a 2-to-1 exchange rate. A few days later, the whole system came crashing down. And according to his testimony, it was 1 US dollar would now buy you 10,000 rubles. And he told me stories about people that he knew that had, you know, middle class style retirements that were vaporized overnight. These were retirement savings that could purchase a couple of, you know, small cars or something in Russia. And overnight, they couldn't buy 2 New York City hot dogs. He said bread was through the roof. Food was scarce. It was a disaster that quick. So we have to be careful what systems we rely upon because, you know, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but almost 25% of all US dollars were printed in 2020 alone, which means that if you started off the year, I guess in essence, your dollar's worth 25% less today than it was a year ago. And now they're talking about passing new COVID packages to the tune of what? $900 billion? I mean, this is unsustainable. Not keep printing money. And we don't want to wake up one day like those folks in the USSR. So we really have a call upon our lives now as men, as leaders, as patriarchs, as you know, business owners, as firefighters, and you know, all the things that we are and capacities that we serve our people. We need to now serve our people with these ideas in mind in 2021. You cannot trust these systems anymore. Do you guys agree with this? Is this resonating?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Frank. I think people don't realize.
Hang on, I've got somebody with an avatar named JC in the I'm going to add him to the stream. So let me introduce him here and check him out. So we'll see what he has to say real quick. JC.
You know what's up, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How you doing?
Cool, man. Cool. Just yeah, I was just sitting back. I just somehow randomly came across this stream. It was in my recommended for some reason, and an opportunity to join. Seems like an interesting conversation, so I thought
Good.
yeah.
Where are you from, JC?
Sorry?
Where are you from?
I'm from the Pacific Northwest.
Okay, so you're where, up in Oregon, Washington State area?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, good. Well, what we're doing we're talking right now is we're talking about what hope and positivity do we have and can we have for 2021? So, man, you were about to start.
Yeah, I was going to reiterate a little bit what Frank said. I don't think people realize how fragile the system is. It's fragile. It really is. If you can't see that from 2020, I don't know what to say.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know about for you guys, but as somebody who eats a lot of meat, not too long ago, there was a point where I could barely get a stick of fucking butter at the store. You know, it was bad, and you know, I was just going every day. At some point, even all the liver was gone, like all the things that people don't normally buy in mass. They were buying them all out, or they were gone. And you know, I think maybe, you know, we should prepare for getting another taste of that in the future, and all these different things, because yeah, it is fragile. All this stuff collapses. Like there's a great channel I recommend, this guy named Garland Farms. He's a grass-fed beef farmer out here in Texas, and he is intimately aware and has a lot of knowledge in the about supply chains and all that sort of stuff, because he works with these guys. And it's just, you know, it's pretty terrifying, you know, the numbers he talks about, and compared to like the Great Depression, compared to, you know, other events we've had with potential for starvation, and, you know, barely anybody makes their own food anymore. Back during the Depression, more people used to make their own food, and so it wasn't, you know, a lot of people still starved and suffered through that. But now almost nobody at all produces anything that they consume, which is a huge, huge issue. So I think to bring it more back to the question, I think what we have to look forward to is that this year is it's a revelation. You know, it may be a dark revelation, but you know, what's the there's an old quote from Voltaire. It's like, to learn who rules over you, simply look to who you cannot criticize, something like that. And what we're seeing now is that there's all these people who have just come out of the woodwork, and we didn't even realize where they were at. Like we didn't even have them in our conscious as a face and a name, but yet, you know, they're controlling our cities. They're putting in place our regulations and all this stuff, and we're realizing now just how important they are, and just how corrupt they are. And when you see that corruption, you actually have more power than if you didn't. So, I'd say so to see this darkness and this ugliness coming out in 2020, I think is amazing. I think that's what we need. Show more of it, not less of it.
You know, it was funny when you said that about like no butter or something like that at the store. You know that I didn't have that issue here. I think it was paper towels and toilet paper, but I had plenty of that, so I didn't worry. But I think it was like people were telling me, "Oh my God, there's no meat at Publix." I don't know if you guys are familiar with Publix in Florida. Probably not. Man, they have Publix up in Louisiana or no?
No, but I've been to Publix in Florida.
Yeah, I think maybe people were only going to Publix because I can tell you that Winn-Dixie had all the chicken meat, and it was, you know, it was the cheap stuff that was gone. So, you know, hamburger, things like that, I think were put out and taken. But as far as steaks, chicken thighs, chicken breasts, milk, butter, eggs, it wasn't a problem. So, you know, so I'm not sure if that's a big city thing or just, you know.
Well, I'm not sure if you guys had this experience, but here, because I went to a couple different stores, and I'm not sure if you guys have H-E-B in Florida, but H-E-B, they still had meat at some point, but, you know, obviously the price definitely went up, and they actually started cutting the meat thinner. So normally you'd get like a thick roast. It'd be like if you buy like chuck roast and that sort of thing, which is what I usually get. But they were starting to cut them really thin, and the prices were just like through the roof. And so you could.
And what created this whole problem? This whole problem was created by legislation. Now, and I don't necessarily mean just laws that are passed in Congress, but laws that were created by fiat. Oh, we're in a pandemic. Oh, and by the way, we're going to place you know, trading halts and travel restrictions and all this kinds of stuff. So that caused the supply chain to break down, and that caused purveyors and entrepreneurs and business owners and people within the framework of the supply chain to respond. So they cut the meat thinner because they had less meat. It was essentially a style of rationing. But we have to remember that there are people that pull the strings, and they can affect market conditions like that. We need to put ourselves in a position where they don't have a monopoly on the market anymore, where we create our own market. Now, if you guys are like me, you like to spend your money within your own community, locally, among your friends, I'd rather put money in your pocket than put money in, you know, somebody else's pocket, because I know you and have a relationship with you. I'd rather see the food go on your table. You know what I mean? And we need to start thinking about how to create a deeper economic connection with our neighbors and investing in ourselves here, because the time is coming where, and the time is now, as you can see, a lot of the smaller businesses, the mom and pop businesses, have been washed out because lockdowns and everything else have forced them to close their doors. But Amazon and Walmart and all the big box companies are richer than ever. They have consolidated profit and power more than anybody at any time in history, perhaps. So we need to start responding to that and creating systems that we can, you know, produce organic growth with and amongst ourselves. Somebody made a comment here a few minutes ago about treasuries. Somebody said that the Fed is going to support treasury prices. Well, you know, we have been at basically zero interest for fucking years, because it's all made of bullshit. And people, you know, these Federal Reserve bankers and these central bankers and these, you know, big shots at the top, they're just printing money and putting it in their pockets. They're saying 1, 2, 3 for me, 1 for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for me, 1 for you, maybe. So, you know, we have to remember, you know, they never had our best interest in mind. And when people stop participating in the system, that's when the system will stop being, you know, ruler over us, so to speak.
Frank, can I see a question there real quick?
Let me give a couple.
Yes,
Yep, 1 second. Let me give a couple quick shout outs. First, I want to give a shout out to John Boston. He's a regular, always in the chat. I see him quite frequently. John, how you doing, buddy? I also want to give a big shout out to Nick Gonzalez. Nick is the producer of Jesse Lee Peterson's show, so you guys know. So big shout out to Nick. Thanks for stopping in, man. If you want to jump on the live stream, Nick, you are welcome. The StreamYard link is in the chat. We'd love to have you.
I'd love to have Nick on as well. He's from my hometown in Mississauga. Glad to see you, Nick, for sure.
I just wanted to say thank you for getting the phones, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I'd like to keep this segment in a positive, not that that wasn't positive, but let's think of a positive way where I think of, you had said on how you can get with your neighbors, you know what I mean? And create that bond. And I think I have that on my street, and a lot of local people. We stick together pretty tight here. Whether it be whatever somebody needs, we have that. So I think if it was a shit hit the fan scenario, we damn sure wouldn't run out of bullets. That I know. But as far as everything else goes, you know, I think having those neighbors and friends, and I don't want to say that you can rely on, because at the end, I think the only person you can rely on is yourself. I mean, that's my opinion. That might be a dark attitude, but that's the reality. So, but I know JC wanted to say something. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks. I was just thinking about what Frank had to say, and I understand that you're talking about how we rely upon systems from like a bigger picture, right? We're relying upon corporations, we're relying upon people to provide these services to us, and we need to focus more on the small mom and pop shops and focus more on like the close knit communities, and you know, put the emphasis into that if you're going to spend $1, you'd rather spend that $1 on a smaller mom and pop shop. Is that kind of what you're saying there, Frank?
You know what, man? Obviously, I would love to see us investing in our community, just as you stated. But what I'm really trying to drive home in more of a macro sense is, I believe that people have tremendous ingenuity. And, you know, I may have some ideas, but that doesn't mean that I can necessarily put those ideas into motion and manifest, you know, a new utility of the internet, for instance. But I know that somebody can. I know that somebody has that expertise and those connections. And all I'm saying is I want to see that come from the people. I want to see that come from people like yourself and the people that are on this panel. And wherever I can do my role, of course, you know, bring those kinds of things to the forefront. So That's kind of where I'm going with that, JC.
Yeah, fair enough. Like I get what you're saying, and I support what you're saying, and I'm not kind of sure how to caveat my next statement, but like, other than the fact of like, I agree where you're coming from, but I kind of look at that idea as kind of like a reverse evolution. You know, like, I think that as a society and as a species that we've evolved to a point that we don't have those base tribalistic behaviors anymore, where we're focused more only on our smaller communities, you know, where we're focusing more on our smaller groups. I think that we've advanced and evolved to a point as a society that we've created these social safety nets and these social safety systems that greatly improves our, you know, quality of life. And, you know, all living organisms are basically in need to improve their quality of life and their chances of survival. So we become very dependent upon these bigger macro systems that we can't even that we can't even connect with anymore because we don't have to fight that fight anymore. We have these systems that provides our security, that provides our water, that provides our electricity, our resources, our food, all of these things. So I think inherently we don't have those tight connections anymore because they're not needed, because we're relying on this bigger system that we're talking about. So when we think about how it would be better going forward, it's like I kind of think we're in a point right now where we don't really know what the future holds because there's a constant evolution moving forward, and all we're doing in these situations is just managing what we're experiencing, managing the environmental influences that we have, and adapting accordingly to like perpetuate our survival moving forward. And you and I might know things a bit differently. You know, that back when I was a kid, I remember my grandparents putting food in mason jars and storing them in their pantry because times might be lean in 6 or 8 months down the road. There was no guarantee. There was no social safety net. So there was a different level of interaction with your community and investing into your community because you needed that to survive. But I think today that we have this bigger macro system that we don't think about that. So we're less likely to invest in these smaller businesses and putting in money back into the mom and pop shops because we don't have that relationship with a tight knit community that we once had. So the longer that we live in this larger corporate realm or this corporate environment, the more we become dependent upon those because they're the ones that's providing that security for us. So I don't think the question is how do we influence our community to put money back into the mom and pop shops. It's how do we look at the situation that we're in and adapt moving forward, knowing that these mom and pop shops are going to collapse and that we are fighting the bigger fight against the larger corporations. And how do we improve our situation moving forward from an evolutionary standpoint? Like, let's not try to correct the problems that we have right now. How do we come up with some mitigation of risk for future problems on the road?
That was an excellent and well thought out statement, man. I really appreciate you making that. So let me just state to you that I'm not anti-globalization. We have a big market that has evolved and given us opportunities to participate all over the globe, right? We've created systems that allow us to do that and allow us to build within those systems so that we can bring forth our business or our product or carry out our transactions on a much larger scale. So definitely I'm not against that at all. And I don't want to go backwards and say that we need to forget what we've learned or disregard what we've built. What I'm saying to you is that when we use these systems, we have to be, I don't want to say wary, but we have to be aware that these systems could suffer restriction. These systems can be de facto shut down. And in that case, what are our contingencies within those systems? For instance, a lot of people were drop shipping for a long time from China, right? And they didn't necessarily expect the tariff environment to come about. And then therefore, a lot of that shipping and trade shifted from China to Vietnam and India and Mexico and different countries. So just using that just as an illustration and an example that when market conditions shift, we have to be careful that we don't get washed out. But within the framework of everything that's been created for us, we have to create new safety nets or new opportunities for regular people like you and I to participate and to do well in those systems. I think, for instance, cryptocurrencies are an excellent system that were designed to basically take people out of, the legacy fiat debt-driven system of the dollar, the euro, and other government-backed currencies into currencies that are owned truly by the people and ruled by consensus and innovation, in certain respects. So, yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about what I just said, JC?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, using the cryptocurrency gives some autonomy back to the individual of how they use their money and how they spend it. But maybe I kind of jumped into this conversation a bit late. like you seem to be heavily focused on the financial aspect of things. I was looking more on like, I'm kind of responding more from like a societal aspect of things, of how our brain works in terms of like, you know, whether or not people are going to have that progressive style thinking to say, let's invest into the cryptocurrency right now. Like for you and I, and maybe other panel members and other people listening, they had that progressive ability to think about it. But it seems that for the majority of people that are involved, they have more of a you know, traditional based things where it's like people are focused more on reestablishing things of the past and not looking at how, like, I guess the way that that I visualize this, and I'm kind of struggling how to describe this right now, but I kind of visualize 2020 as me sitting in the passenger seat looking out a window. It felt like everything was just zooming by me. I don't know if anybody else felt that same way, but it felt like things were out of control. And when I look at how to, you know, manage that feeling and like manage this sense of uncertainty, it's almost like I'm so heavily dependent upon these systems that are around me that have already been established that I don't have those primal means, methods to be able to come up with an alternate solution to be able to, you know, go after or to, you know, overcome this.
Hey, JC.
Go ahead.
Great input. I really appreciate what you had to say. Also, I think you're seeing this from a very emotional standpoint. That makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, like, you know, I think we all are, and I mean, like, I'll show some vulnerability right now. I don't know you guys, like, you guys are complete strangers, and you know, so is the audience. But I feel that this is a productive enough conversation that where we can maybe talk about some of these things. But
yeah,
like, I think that in 2020, we all feel a sense of vulnerability that we were used to a certain way of life and a certain sense of security with these safety nets, and as long as you follow these rules, you know, for the most part, you can expect this, you know, path, right? And I think that when we hit 2020 with COVID and we recognize how overly dependent we are upon these safety systems, that once they're not available, we just crash and burn, right? So it's like, where's that sense of survival? Where's that sense of independence? You know, survival of the fittest. We have it in us. It's just that we're so used to dependent upon this bigger system. So for me, it's just been a transitionary period from where I was living my life how I thought I should. I was dependent upon the systems that were available to me. And then I realized, oh shit, when these are taken away, everything changes. And I had a moment of vulnerability. And I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but you know, there's a piece of me that's like, oh wow, shit isn't guaranteed every single day. So now that I've had time to process that, I recognize that I need to become more independent. I need to become more self-reliant, I guess, to have these mitigations put into place in the event of something happens, and I shouldn't take things for granted. But at the same time, you know, we have the technology that we have that we can communicate and have these conversations. So it's kind of like, how do we use the thing which in itself that's causing the problem to make the situation better moving forward?
Hey, Jason, real quick. You made it this far, right?
I have, yes.
Yeah. You'll be surprised at what you're capable of doing.
JC, how old are you?
30.
Okay.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, you'll be surprised at what you're capable of doing. And I wanted to add that in there, is that, yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I hear the thing about being vulnerable. I think as men, being vulnerable, and I get what you say, JC, that you had a moment, and I like what you said, that you had a moment of vulnerability. Okay, that's okay. It's when you're vulnerable all the time when it's not okay. As men, we're strong, we're powerful. That's what we were put on this earth to lead, to build, to create. We when you were talking about what happens is you were talking about, like, we're so, basically you're saying we're so reliant, and we can go to the grocery store and get what we need. We can run to Walgreens and pick up our medications. Now, in reality, if all that ends, to me, one of the main things, we talk about community, your neighbors and things like that, but if all that ends, this is my opinion, you guys can agree or not agree. I think it's going to, if shit ever truly hit the fan, it's going to depend on your location, where you are. If you're in a big city, you're pretty much fucked, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I'm not in a big city. I am in a fairly populated area. Nothing like Orlando or Miami or anything like that. But location, you know, even when it comes to, you know, real estate, what does it say? Location, location, location. When it comes to shit hitting the fan, I think it's gonna tie back to real estate, which is location, location, location. You know, if you're in a you know, we'll say a heavily populated suburb, you're not going to know who's your ally, who's your enemy, who's going to try to screw you, who's going to come in the back door, you know what I mean? It's going to be it would be a whole different world. I don't know if we would ever get there. And I hope that we never get there, but being prepared, I think is so important. You know, I am probably so sure of myself. Like if the shit hit the fan, I am 100% sure that I'm going to be one of the guys that's going to survive. Period. There is no question in my mind. Zero. I will do what I have to do to survive. So, you know, I look at like JC, wherever you are right now. I never really had a moment of vulnerability during 2020. I've always had this vision and this thought, even when I see somebody with a mask. Now, again, I've worn a mask a couple times to the grocery store, and that was it. I wore a mask on an estimate last week, which I didn't want to, but the people did ask me, so I wore one. I went in their house. I was respecting them, but I don't do that. I don't fold to anybody. I go to the grocery store. I just, you know, and people can say, oh, whatever, you know, I'll do it for the other person. No, I don't do that. So, but, and that's a whole nother topic, but I think that focusing as a man, being strong, and I don't focus on negative things. I don't focus on what can happen, but I am prepared for what can happen.
But I mean, he brings up a really great point, though, because I had that same realization, JC, where I looked at 2020 and I did feel vulnerable, you know, for a moment. I said, wow, look at that. Just that quickly, everything changes. And if you notice, throughout this entire year, the entire social contract has been under attack. Social distance, no more gathering at family's house, no more parties, no more eating at restaurants, no more building that community through that face-to-face interaction that we have always built relationship through. And we've been pushed into these virtual, you know, ghettos, as it were, so that we can communicate with each other. And sometimes these things get censored. You know, even one of these broadcasts got censored. They shut it down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I totally hear what JC is saying, and that's totally valid. But I'll tell you what, when you say before about, you know, reverse evolution, so to speak, I mean, it's kind of already happening, man, because we don't have that FaceTime with people anymore like we used to. And I mean, of course, it's dependent upon where you live. I personally left the city environment to move into the mountains because I felt like this was going to be a better place for me to be because of the future. But with that being said, you know, you have to do the best you can with what you have where you're at. And, you know, that includes trying to build as local as possible. because if there are widespread, you know, travel restrictions, let's say, or regulation on conducting business, you know, from state to state or whatever, you want to know that you have an infrastructure that's around you that can support, you know, your consumer needs. And I mean food, I mean water, I mean, you know, travel and gasoline and these kinds of things. But I wanted to mention that because, you know, I did too have a sense of vulnerability in 2020 early on. Just saying to myself, all right, what do I do from here? I need to think about this because what I've built up until this point may not be as successful into the future. So, and that's what we've spent the rest of 2020 doing, building better systems.
I didn't experience any vulnerability. I experienced a lot of frustration with other people. I can tell you that. I'm just telling honestly, it's just can't believe people would easily slide into where they're at now and have the mentalities that they have. And that was something that was frustrating for me to see. And then try to push it onto me. So the whole lion amongst sheep was kind of how I felt. Not trying to brag, it's just how I felt.
Yeah, man, I hear you. Like, I think the situation there is that there's a difference between your experience to 2020 was based off of your environmental factors. My experience to 2020 was based off my environmental factors, which are two completely different things. So if you're in my shoes, maybe you may have had a different outcome. Maybe you were fortunate enough to be in a situation where it didn't affect you as much as what it affected me. And that's what we need to recognize.
Yeah, for sure. I was blessed to not be affected, for sure.
You know, I spent some good time with Martin at 21. Martin, I want to hear your take on this.
Well, I'm enjoying the conversation. There are a lot of very valid points. I think the initial question you put out there, Tony, was something positive we can take from the season that we're going through. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What I'm personally seeing is just the collapse of the illusion. The collapse that governments are ally, the collapse of the dollar and the economic systems are sound. Not that I ever held on to that, but it's really coming to light just how we're going on, and it seems like we're running on fumes. So what the positive thing is, we see what is what and who is who in the hard times. And what I'm learning, and I may be on a personal note getting vulnerable, as the other person was saying. Sorry, I forgot what was his name. JC. As JC was saying, I may be going through the hardest personal season of my life, and in the difficulty, we can leverage that for growth. So we can use this as an opportunity to cut out all pleasure-seeking behavior. Cut out entertainment and use that same time and put into other times for self-development, relation building. What I'm taking away personally is probably the smartest thing one can do is speak directly with sincerity and respect and not compromise, unapologetically speak our views. And in that, we will be what we are, and those that are with us will be with us for who we are. And in times of challenge, and in the shit hits the fan, yes, we need to have equipment. Yes, we need to have skill sets. That's no question about it. Independence is very important, but also to be interdependent with other men of equal value. And we can only connect when we are completely transparent and authentic with those of who deserve that. And so what I'm learning is that relationships matter so much. We can go fast alone, but to go far, we need good men in our lives. And these type of men who are just reliable, who are competent, who are capable, who have your interest at heart, these are things that need to be respected and nurtured. So to smoke a cigar with a buddy like that once a week, to be there when he needs work done, you know, and not to expect to receive, just to be the friend that you would want to have. and not expect to receive to be out there. So, like I said, I'm going through an incredibly hard time, and
I want to jump in here, Martin, real quick. I just want to say, just so you guys know, Martin is speaking truly from the heart now. I know more of his background, and he has reached out to me with some personal things. And of course, he doesn't, I wouldn't share them right now, but he is somebody that has reached out to me, and I did whatever I could. And this is a man that I just met. I did whatever I could to lift him up. And that's very, very important. I saw something, I saw a guy that was going through some trials and tribulation here that needed that other man to bring him or help him or give him words of encouragement. And Martin, I hope I did that for you.
Tony, you're a stud. Grateful for you, man. Really grateful.
Yeah, because it's as men, I felt your pain. Not that I was going through what you were going through, but I could feel that for you.
And I'll say this without sounding all, the pain's a blessing, because it's easy to be happy in the good times.
Yeah.
And in the hard times, that's when we really learn what we're made of. That's where we grow. And grateful for it, Tony. Grateful for you guys here to share with. Frank, very smart points on the change of currencies, like the digital currencies. I do agree, and I'm a little bit ignorant to it. I do have my apprehensions. I would know about Bitcoin more so than the other coins, and I'm more interested in
Bitcoin today. Just saying.
It's
reach out to me anytime, Martin. We can talk offline if you want, bro.
I'd love to. So I think, sorry, gentlemen, what I think is we're going through a radical transition that's being engineered. That's my take. And fortunes will be lost and won. And relationships will be changed radically. And it's a compound effect, multi-spokes on the wheel. And it's a terrific opportunity if we frame it as such. Like, it truly is an opportunity to show the world who we are, what we're made of, because talk is cheap and our deeds will speak for themselves. That's what I agree.
Well said.
I'd like to bring on a new guest here. We got a new guest, and that's Nick. Is this Nick Gonzalez? Nick, can we hear you?
Oh, no.
Nick, are you there?
Your mic must not be working, Nick. We saw you take mute off. I think it's something on your end.
Well, Nick, Nick, are you there?
Mic issues. Yeah.
Mic issues.
You just put in the chat.
Okay. Well, just speak up when you can. That's all.
Yeah.
Anthony Velasquez, Nick must have the Android.
Oh yeah, is this getting an iPhone? We're back to get an iPhone.
So let me ask you guys a quick question.
If that's Nick, who I think it is, I'd love to have his input on this. That would be awesome. So,
yeah.
But
I think JC has a question.
Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, no worries. Like, since we're kind of talking about, technology and evolution and how what we have seen during the pandemic, at least, is that it's been kind of interesting because we've demonstrated that we're able to, work from home and to conduct business, using the technology that we have for the most part. And I think Frank had made a comment earlier about how by using that technology, we're not experiencing the true interaction between two humans, right? I mean, if we're just using text message, there's a lot that's taken away from text. If we, have like a face-to-face chat, there's obviously more information, so we can interpret that interaction much greater than what we could through a text message, for an example. So the fact that we're using technology from home, from an evolutionary standpoint, means that we're going to kind of hone in and become more proficient in communicating from home. So we're kind of isolating ourselves. And I kind of wonder, like, if we look at the evolutionary process of technology, if technology is created to constantly improve itself, like, what's the purpose of technology? Like, if we ask ourselves, like, what's the whole idea of it? Is to make our lives easier. So what's the end point? Like, have we collectively decided to say that once we achieve this goal and our lives are this easy, that's it, we won't improve upon our technology? Or do we have this inherent fact that, or this factor within us that we want to constantly improve upon that technology? Right? Like, at what point does an iPhone 4 to an iPhone 5 to an iPhone 8 to an iPhone 10, 11, 12, like, what do we need? An iPhone 20? Like, at what point are we satisfied with the technology? So I kind of wonder if as a species, because we create this technology to improve our quality of life, if eventually the end result is we get to a position where we sit inside of a chair and we never move, right? People bring food to us, people feed us, all of the information is there, we can work from home. Like, essentially we're just becoming a blob in a chair hooked up to some kind of like centralized brain moving forward as a species. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I would like to like turn the tables on this a little bit, because I want to frame this from the perspective of cancer, because I find it interesting how you're like talking about this, like using like evolution, and when it comes to cancer, we're starting to understand cancer a little bit more. And I once read an article. This is a really interesting article. I highly recommend it. It's from the Weston A. Price Foundation, I think. It's called like an alternative look at cancer or something like that. It's a very fascinating article. But I just want to throw out the idea that this evolution that we're experiencing right now is cancer. That's what we're experiencing. Civilization, living in cities are cancer. And you think, well, what is a cancer? Because a lot of people use these phrases like, humans are a cancer on the face of the earth. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the way cancer cells work is that, cells, they have little groups. They have their own little segments and divides, and they differentiate. So they know what they are. And essentially, we know through various means that these cells either are damaged or they're mutated. And they essentially, as far as I understand, to put it in layman's terms, these cells de-evolve. Cancer cells regress. So they go from being the normal, healthy, functioning cells that we see to being an older form of what those cells were. And they just grow. Just exponentially, and they're greedy, and they take over, and that's what we're seeing with cities and stuff right now. Like, you think of like
Chris, could I ask you a real quick question? Sorry, not to cut you off, but I think that's a fascinating point that you just made. But I think that's kind of misrepresenting the macro picture. There is that if those cells have been able to de-evolve themselves to continuously grow, then that within itself would be an evolution, because the body's immune system should be able to pick up on the cell, right? So the body itself has an immune response, which is its defense system. Mm-hmm. If the cancer itself has come up with a path to survive, which means, well, I need to regress back from an evolutionary standpoint to trick the body into ignoring me in order for me to be able to perpetuate to be able to copy more cells, then that within itself is actually a definition of how a virus or a cancer could evolve in terms, right? So once the body's immune system is able to determine that, then the cancer, in order for that to be successful, would need to modify itself. So everything you're describing within itself is the definition of evolution.
Well, I don't think that's quite it, because as far as I understand now,
well, what is your definition of evolution? Just so we're both on the same page.
Well, yeah, like if something it modifies itself, or I guess in this example, genetically, you know, this is kind of like a loose, you know, metaphor really, but when something I guess adapts to the environment and adjusts its features, its capabilities to survive, adjust something about itself. I guess that's the most basic way I can put it. But when it comes to the immune system and that sort of thing, it seems that if the immune system is weakened, that's when cancer grows. The immune system and we all have cancer. All of us sitting here right now, we all have cancer, but the cancer is in check. It is not growing. It is not doing anything. It is dormant. You could see it as like there are seeds of cancer. There is the potential for cancer. And what happens is through various means, the immune system is weakened, and then the cancer is less and less regulated. And so eventually it has an environment where it can grow.
Let me ask real quick. So what you're saying is evolution is almost a defense mechanism to continue.
And not all evolution is constructive either. Because cancer is evolution, but cancer in its essence is the rebellion of cells.
Yes.
And when cancer is fully grown, it kills the organism which it inhabits.
Right, but the cancer has been able to evolve to a point that where it can sit dormant within a environment without the environment recognizing it's a potential threat.
I mean, okay.
So that's the whole point with you know, a cancer treatment, is that we're trying to introduce that information to the immune system to say, hey, if this gene or this thing is present within your environment, eliminate it, because it might not appear as a threat now, but it's going to lay dormant until you get old and weak, and then it's going to take over. So the cancer itself has evolved to a point beyond the capacity of our immune system, and that's why we're trying to create this data to bring the immune system, you know, to a point where it can overcome the cancer.
I wouldn't say it has evolved to the point where the immune system can't take care of it. I think it is, and now there's several theories on this, but personally I think that the body doesn't have enough resources to handle the cancer. It is become weakened in that there's just not enough it can move around. And like I said, this is kind of like a loose metaphor, obviously, but I think it's appropriate because, like, you know, you brought up like, well, what's the end point of technology? What's the end point of all this stuff? And I would say death. 100%. The end point is death. I mean, you look at like, you know,
I would almost disagree from a sense that if you look at our biological imperatives, at the end point isn't death. The biological imperatives are the needs of living organisms required to perpetuate their existence to survive. So the whole point of things to exist is for it to survive. If you say that the end point is death, then why would we continue to contribute to what we're doing? We would just lay down and die. We live because we want to live, because ultimately, if we really look at the end point, it's about ascribing meaning to things. We give a meaning and a purpose. We ascribe to a higher meaning, and that's what motivates us to continue to move forward.
But that doesn't mean that we always make the right decision, though, right?
Absolutely not. No. But that's survival of the fittest, right? Because people that don't make the right decisions, they bounce off, and the ones that do, they survive. So that's, again, a definition of evolution.
Think about love, for instance, right? When people are in love, they make decisions based on the data and the information that they have, and it doesn't necessarily always turn out for the best. A lot of bad decisions come out of love. People are hurt. People kill each other over love. So I think it's just important that we state that not all evolution is good.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with that.
That's what I was going to say, because evolution, whether good or bad, the whole idea of evolution is to survive. Whether it's a cancer cell to kill the host, whether it's evolution as a creature, whether it be a frog getting 2 extra legs so he can jump across the bigger stream. I mean, that's so evolution, you know, like I said, is a defense mechanism against its actually for its survival.
I'd like to bring up a point. So we talked about how the immune system has to be suppressed in order for cancer to grow. So does the humanity of society have to be more suppressed for the technology to grow? Think about it like that.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, and so we have to yeah, and we have to suppress that by growing our humanity as men. And it's just my opinion quickly. We have to grow our humanity more, just like we would have to grow our immune system more to prevent cancer. Grow our humanity as men more.
I'd like to bring up a point. I think initially the comparison was bringing up the technological evolution, iPhone 4, 5, 6, and such.
Yes.
Essentially, it's a telephone for the purpose of communicating with one another. If we look at a car from the 60s or the 50s, and we look at one that's in the showroom today, essentially the purpose to get around is still the same. And what was just said, I completely agree upon. I think, although technology is changing, is it giving us the value for a basic human experience? And I think the less we fall victim to the marketing, that our life will be so much better to wait in line for 2 days or whatever it is for the latest, greatest telephone. We're no longer free. We are that suppressed immune system. And that's a beautiful metaphor. We're suppressed of our manhood, of our life force. Yes. And really, yes, the telephone is a fabulous design. We're all connected here with it, so I'm grateful for that. However, the real gift in the life is that authentic relational experience with nature, alone in the woods, with someone you respect and admire, you can learn from. Yes, to have possessions, but not have those possessions be our masters and we're slaves to them. That's the point I'd like to make.
I think that's great, man. Like you talk about balance there, right? Like you recognize the fact that we are dependent upon this advancement of technology, but it's the use of that technology in a responsible way that creates a balance. I think becoming all or one without the other is just not a healthy way to live.
Correct, and it's what we use it for. We can be online all day, learning how to make red wine from scratch, learning how to build a log cabin in the woods, learning how to fix a car and keep it on the road, or we can spend the whole afternoon just useless, like mindless entertainment. Actually, technology is a liability, not an asset. We're using it for nothing productive.
Maybe do we have to sort of realize or figure out what is the cancer and what is humanity? Yeah. And how can we suppress it or balance it while also maintaining our immune system or humanity to be above it, to where we don't get overtaken with the cancer?
I think the cancer is the determination to live, because that's going to happen no matter what. We have no control over that. Like no matter how long you hold your breath, or you think you can hold your breath for, your body will eventually be like, no, breathe, and you're going to breathe. So like there's things that's out of our control in terms of survival and life. And I think that's where the cancer is at, because that's what drives us to move forward.
Well, now this is just speculation.
Let me pause everybody real quick. I want to see if Nick is here. Is Nick, are you there?
Hey guys, is my mic working now?
It's working beautiful.
Right on.
Feel free to jump in at any time. Okay, I just wanted to
appreciate you having me on, Tony. I catch your streams, and it's cool to see men get together, talk about real stuff. And Martin, it's nice to see you, and Merry Christmas to everybody. I appreciate being here. You know, the discussion is super interesting, because and this is why I jumped in, is because I was literally just having a conversation like this. And what struck me was I was listening to you, JC, and you were talking about that vulnerable moment, right? And I realized that this has been the best year ever. This virus, the politics, everything that has happened is the best thing that could have happened to you. And that vulnerable moment, JC, that the weakness you may be feeling or whatever, is the best thing that could have ever happened to you.
I agree. It made me stronger as a person, right?
It shows you the relationship you have I don't know if people here believe in God. But it shows you the relationship you have with God. And if you don't believe in God, it shows you the relationship you have with your own manhood. Who really am I? Who really are you? Where are your weaknesses? So it's the best thing that could happen to you, man. And it's like a joy. It's like you should take things all with joy, because that's the most amazing part of the pain, I guess. And so I'm just it's a good thing, you know. And
It is.
when I hear you guys, and then and the conversation was really interesting, because you guys were talking about the economic systems and technology. It's like when you kind of put it down for a second, it's like that's all downstream from our own kind of, like, I guess, morality, because these things are only corrupt because the people are corrupt, right? They're just merely tools. I mean, look at, I'm in LA right now. And in LA, they just elected a new DA, Georgia Gascon. He's an absolute radical, like wants to release criminals and everything.
Yeah,
but
I saw that.
He ran on that. He's doing what he said he would do. The people elected him. So it's like there's a corruption that's within us that's deeper than the technology, the system, the currency. You know, they're just kind of like a symptom. But and so that's I just kind of wanted to comment on that part of the conversation.
When you live in joy, there's things that maybe I've had such a joyful year where things just bounce off me.
Right on.
They just don't bother me. Do I have my moments of questioning and thinking, you know, getting upset at something where I shouldn't? But it's short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The second I get upset, I say, that's not, what's the point?
That uncertainty, that moment of that, like, feeling of uncertainty, that moment of that, like, that, like, unstill feeling is the best thing you could be in. It's the being bored, being uncertain, all those things is the best state you could be in, because it shows you the relationship you have within. And it's a moment to remind you to be still and just be aware.
Nick, that's an interesting point there, because what I'm hearing you say is that it's a positive thing, or it's a great thing to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, right?
100%.
So it's like,
and
so,
it's in that uncertainty that life just gets revealed to you.
Absolutely. And you know what? You know, this kind of goes back to, like, I think when I first came in with this discussion, I was kind of focused on these social safety nets that have been created for us, that we're so reliant up on a particular way that whenever we have to face any adversity, we struggle within that space, right? Like if we went back like 100 years ago or 200 years ago, when we didn't have these systems, we were much more able to deal with these times of adversity. And people who struggle within that space don't necessarily make the best decisions, but people that are used to kind of, like, you know, spending time in the suck, right? in that shitty situation, people are able to make faster decisions. So it's like becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable is a great place to be coming from.
True, man. People can't endure anymore. And this is coming from someone who, my generation, I'm saying that because I live it, or I've lived it. And my generation can't endure. They can't endure anything, any little bit of pain. They have to turn to something, to their phone, to music.
But why is that, though, Nick? Where does that come from?
It comes from, well, straight up, it started like in the beginning of history, but it gets passed down through the family. It gets passed down through your parents, man. And I personally don't know. I'm 26, but my generation and my peers, I don't know anybody that was truly raised perfectly. And that may sound crazy. Like, what do you mean raised perfectly? That's impossible. But I'm telling you, there's things that everyone is missing something. Yeah. And I know that, and I'm not saying that the generations before us were perfect, because if we were made imperfect, then what was wrong with the generation before us? Something was wrong with them too. But
it's almost like
there's stuff that's missing within us, you know?
Right. But it's almost like society within itself, they dictate what's right or what's wrong. Right. So I could be raised by a family who teaches me a certain way of things, and I think that to be true because that's within my environment. But then I go out and I hang out at the playground with other kids, and then I act as I think I should based off of what I've been taught in my environment. And then I quickly realize that if I say or do these things, I'll get a punch in my nose, which will greatly redirect or reprogram who I am as a person. So I will adapt to the real life scenario.
Oh, you make such a good point, JC. Let me ask if let me just get it straight. What you're saying is that regardless of what parenting is, the world is a stronger force.
Oh, 100%. Because
And that's such a wow.
You know what you know, and you
But
know.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you know what you know what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. And in this situation of being raised in a particular family, if you think that's all there is to it, you don't know that that outside of that environment, there's a different way to act. And without that social interaction, you're not going to experience that. And I think that's where the technology rolls into it in today's terms, that we don't have people interacting with each other on that personal basis as much anymore, because I don't need to. I can sit home. There's 7 of us on a panel here right now. If this was 30 years ago, we'd be hanging out at a cafe somewhere or in a bar talking a bunch of bullshit. And now we're complete different strangers on different parts of the world that will never, right? For all you know, I'm a dude with an avatar with some red tape over my mouth and a name JC. I don't have any accountability for my actions in terms of, like, I'm hiding behind a one-way mirror in terms of how I present myself. But if I was sitting in front of you, I would act different. And I think that's the disconnect, is that we're so used to hiding behind these virtual avatars that we have no accountability for our actions. So it changes who we are. And we don't realize how, when we act that way, that in normal situations, you'd get a punch in the face for it because it's not appropriate, right? And I think that's where the social disruption is happening from.
Well, JC, you want to drop the avatar, JC?
I'm sorry?
You're welcome to drop the avatar.
Yeah, of course I could, right?
I mean, Gonzo, the first night he was on was Avatar, and that was Halloween.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hell, I had a Silence of the Lambs mask on that night.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother had the Anonymous mask on. So
I hear you.
Yeah.
But
Give me longer than 38 minutes on a live stream, and let's see what happens.
you know what? Yeah. Your accountability for right now, you're speaking intelligently. You're bringing up some great points. So the avatar is absolutely welcome. I think everybody here on the panel knows who everybody is. Nick, can you mention who you are?
I'm sorry, what?
Can I mention who you are?
Yeah, by all means,
Okay, JC, Nick is a producer of a radio show. Have you heard of Jesse Lee Peterson?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't, but I'm Googling as we speak.
Nick is Jesse Lee Peterson's producer. So just so you know.
Okay.
I had met him months ago. I am absolutely stoked that he's here. He's making some great points. Smart.
Okay.
And yeah, Nick, I'm going to call you kid.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I mean, I'm just going through life. I'm, like I said earlier, I'm 26, right? So there's things that I haven't experienced, but there's things that have been. I was saying earlier about how in that moment of uncertainty is when life gets revealed, and when life gets revealed that way, you do not let go. You know it. You just know it, and so you can't be swayed. And why I'm saying this is to segue into what you were saying, JC, about parenting and the forces of the world being a deeper and stronger force, and who you are changes depending on your situation. But I wanted to say that would not happen if you knew yourself. That would not happen. And you were saying about you can have all the parenting you like, but the world will affect you the way it does. But the thing is that, for example, my parents gave me all the right words as well. They said all the right words. Don't do this, do this. They had the words, but they didn't have the spirit, right? They didn't live it. It has to come from a much deeper place. And when it's that way, the world and it's given to you as the child, the world can't affect you like that.
Mm-hmm.
You become untouchable in a sense.
Right.
You become one with your father.
In a pretty good family upbringing, your parents will also teach you the truth, and they'll also teach you how to handle others that are not willing to accept the truth. Mm-hmm. And so, you'll know how to handle it when that punch comes towards your way, because your parents will know that, hey, you will be persecuted for your truth, or if you even speak it or live it, you'll be persecuted for it.
Yeah.
Your parents will teach you how to handle that.
I agree with that, sir. And I mean, like maybe the way that I explained that didn't represent myself.
No, but I totally understand though, because I've heard that before, and I know
Right.
a lot of people think that way.
I was like I
did.
was coming from a place of those shitheads of society. Like I wasn't thinking about the common folk. Like, yes, you're right. The common folk who grows up in an environment that's a healthy family environment, they're much more prepared to be able to cope with the stress of the world. But I guess that response was for some reason, my mind was shifted to the people that don't represent society the best. So I was thinking about the negative aspect in terms of no matter, how you, well, no, actually, you know what? I think I kind of had to stick to my original guns again, that it's just like, you have to ensure that whatever information is provided to the family has to be like a reasonable approach towards life, right? Because if every time that I ask my mom for something, and if she says, yes, here you go, here it is, that's setting me up for failure, because that's not what real life is about. If I walk into a pizza joint, and no disrespect, I worked at a pizza joint, that's why I use it, but if I walk into a pizza joint to say, hey, I'm looking for a job for minimum wage, let me work. And if I ask for something, and if my boss is like, fuck no, you're not getting, sorry, excuse my language, but like, screw it, like, you're not getting this, then I need to be able to handle and cope with that, right? But if I don't have that real life expectation, sorry, if I don't have that real life experience moving out into the world, then I'm not going to know how to deal with that emotion in that situation. So I think that's kind of where I was coming from when I made that statement.
Yeah.
You know
What I see is,
JC, can I ask you? I want to ask you just a couple personal questions. Nothing for your identity, but what is your living situation? Are you married? Do you have kids? I mean, do you live with your mom? Do you live with your dad? I mean,
no. I mean, I'm on my own. I mean, I'm self-sufficient.
Married, kids, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm your average dude. I work, I sustain myself. I live in my own place and support myself. So. Okay.
No, you're not married, kids, nothing like that?
Yeah, no, I'm in a normal cohabit. Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay. So you're living with you're living with a girlfriend. Okay. Yeah. I just want the reason I say that, because it helps me. I think it'll help me and everybody else. I'm not trying to get personal information out of you, like where you live, what's your address, but at least we can kind of put your thought process, your age into context. You understand what I'm saying? So we can see, kind of where you're coming from versus just, I don't know and to me, that makes a difference. How somebody's living, their thought process, that to me, that's really important. It tells me that I can tell it sounds like you're in a good place. You're taking care of yourself, so that your words come across, again, with some context on where you're from, not giving personal information.
I got you. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's very fair. Thank you.
Okay.
I respect that.
Anybody?
Now, if we added, I'm listening to this conversation, and I hear a lot of good things from a lot of people. I hear Nick talking a lot about his faith and, good perspective for the year. And I hear a lot about what JC is saying about how social interactions will basically test your opinions and test your ideas and test what you've been, what's been put into you. But, I can't help but thinking about, what if we add somebody to this panel from, Kurdistan, somebody who dealt with ISIS in recent years, wiping out their entire community? What if we add some Chinese Uyghurs to this panel? What if we add people that over the course of this last year suffered just tremendous loss, tremendous pain outside of what any of us in this picture here have suffered? Because it sounds like we've all done okay and we're all doing okay. We live in the United States, we have systems that work for the most part, and we're chilling. But there's people out there whose situation is dramatically different than what ours is right now. And I can't help but think about Nick. Listen, I'm a believer. You know what I'm saying? I believe in God. And I have a personal relationship with the Lord and all that. But I know that when we talk like this about our faith, best believe that faith is going to be tested.
The best. I missed that. Sorry. The best what?
Is going to be that the faith will be tested and refined. And I think that we have good perspective now, but let us just remember that there may come a time in the near future where conditions around us dramatically deteriorate quickly, and we have to be prepared for that. Both mentally and physically.
Yeah, I think austerity is coming. The time of austerity might be upon us, but I don't know the future, right? So I just stay within this very moment, and it keeps me ready for whatever comes. And so as long as I stay in this very moment, I literally, since I've been staying in this moment, I've never been let down. Everything has been given to me perfectly. The information, what I need to do physically, spiritually, I'm sure if I need to prepare for something, that as long as I'm in the moment, I'll see it coming. Yeah. But that being said, you make a good point, Frank. Austerity's coming, I think. I don't know. But I think austerity's coming. The hard times, we're talking about economic downturn, like things that you gotta be aware of and prepare for. And the best people I'm in LA, right? I mean, some of you guys are probably out in the out prepping, and I'm jealous.
You're right on. I love staying in the moment. But let me just say this though. We communicate our intentions. We say, just stay in the moment, stay strong. Everything will be handed to you. I'm somebody that has traveled to the third world, and I was in the military, and I did different things. I've done some humanitarian work in the third world, and I learned that you have to approach everybody where they're at, right? If you go and find somebody who hasn't eaten in 3 days, you have to approach them on the basis of, hey man, I got some food for you. It's just being empathetic, I guess, would be the right way to say it, but.
Yeah, Frank.
I think I know what you're saying. Are you saying like that? I think I know what you're saying. Like, telling that, be in the moment is not a good advice for everybody. Some people need different kind of advice. Is that what you're saying?
That's part of what I'm saying. But
I know what you mean, man. And it's like there's a time for everything, right? You can't think of what you're gonna say tomorrow. You can't plan what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do, what advice you're gonna give. The moment has to present itself. I'm sure if I was presented in a situation that you described, I would have to react differently, right? So I don't know. There's a time for everything. I'm not saying it's just this. I was just kind of responding to the conversation here.
But ultimately, still, like Nick was saying, that the purpose of you'll still have to respond from the present moment, and that's the only
right.
So. Yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate what Nick was saying, because that has served me as well. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier, that you don't know what you're capable of. I don't think a lot of people know what they're capable of in a positive way. But yeah, Nick, that has served me very well. And I just want to say, JC, off topic real quick, man, keep going down that rabbit hole, man. I just want to encourage you that you're on the right track. I mean, for what I can tell, I don't know you, but I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm going to welcome Anthony Velasquez. Nick, Anthony is in Pasadena, I believe, right?
Hey, what's up, Anthony? Nice Christmas tree.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Anthony.
Merry Christmas, bro.
So JC, Martin, and Nick know Anthony is a regular here. He's a regular part of our panel. We'll call him early, late night panel guest. So, but yeah, Nick, he's in your neck of the woods. To me, California is your neck of the woods. So
yeah, pretty much, man. And I know they just locked you guys. Well, not just, but Pasadena had outdoor dining till just a little while ago, huh?
Right. Yeah, they locked us down once the governor said it's locked down. It was all shut down.
It's crazy, man.
But that guy's going. But that guy's going down. That guy's going to go bye-bye. Gavin's going bye-bye, I think.
I've come to fall in love. I've come to truly love California, and it's such a shame what's going on. And I'm like in LA, like Hollywood, so it's scuzzy, like gross. And yet I know that behind it all, there is like a history and something truly beautiful.
Do you guys know that I actually had a cigarette butt near my mailbox? Somebody put out there, and that was a big deal to me.
What the?
Just because that's how it is where I live. I'm like, oh my God, there's a cigarette butt actually near my mailbox in the street. I picked it up and moved it because that's not something I see often.
When I first got here and I didn't have a car, I had to take the bus really, really early to get to work because the show's at 6 a.m. So I'm taking the bus at like 3 a.m. And the trannies would come out and say hi, right? Because they're all in Hollywood. And I'm like, they're sitting, I'm waiting for the bus, and they're like, hi. And I'm just like, I know you're dressed like a lady, but you got the stature of a man. So you're still a threat. So I'm still going to watch you, you know?
I love the fact, love the sin or hate the sin.
Yeah, pretty freaky stuff. I'm just like, I'm just gonna watch you because you still got big shoulders.
Oh, God.
Quick next week would be the end of it for you, Nick.
The shit hit the fan scenario. I think again, I had said that earlier. I think is where you live. I mean, where you live is so. It's just so. It's good. It's going to depend on where you live on how bad the shit's going to hit you. I mean, that's the reality. And the location of where you live, you know, I think about like my surroundings and how long could I stay here where I'm at. And I'm like, you know what? I think I could ride out quite a bit. Again, I'm only talking to shit hit the fan scenario. You know, we do have an Air Force base, you know, maybe 15 miles, not even that, north of me. So that kind of makes me feel good too. So, but I think your location in a bad scenario is going to be key to anything. You know, Frank, you're out in the middle of nowhere, if I'm correct.
I am. I made that decision consciously.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Where are you located? Like
So I'm originally from New York City, but I moved out to the Ozarks, Ozark Mountains. You know, I did so because I've been looking at the world from this, you know, lens for a long time. You know, the fact that, you know, our entire economic system, our political system, all these systems are a house of cards, you know. So I made it a personal goal and, you know, built in that direction so that I could move out to a place where, you know, it's very rural. It's very, very rural. And with that being said, there's a lot less rules here. There's a lot less opportunity for, you know, bad actors to come and cause trouble. You know, people are definitely community minded. People grow their own food and build their own resources. You know, but I'll be honest with you guys, man. I've been sick for like the last 12 days, dude. It's been tough. So, you know, when I talk about empathy, you know, I'm coming from that reality that I'm going through right now, in that, you know, I had a very strong viewpoint about the whole situation that's going on. It's overblown. It's a hoax. It's a pandemic and all this stuff. But for some people, it was a real reality for them, you know, and I can speak firsthand. It was something that I underestimated personally. And, you know, I'm getting through it, but, you know, it's wild. So I'm a little bit slower on the take tonight, guys, and just bear with me. Just bear with me on that if you don't mind.
Hey guys, I just want to say real quick, I got to bounce out. I got somebody at my front door here who wants to hang out. So I do appreciate everybody.
I appreciate you, man. Do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Check out some of my videos. Got some great interviews, some great conversations, and some great live streams.
Yeah, will do, man.
We would love to have you back again. For sure.
Cool, man. Yeah, we'll check it out. You guys, everyone have a happy holidays, happy new year, all the best in the 2021.
All right.
And best wishes for everyone. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Merry Christmas. Hey, Frank, so just to be clear, so you live in like southern Missouri, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I was stationed in Fort Leonard Wood, so I know the area.
I was stationed in Wood too.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to introduce somebody right now. It's Jake Allah.
Hi, you guys all right?
Jake, yeah, where are you from, buddy?
You all right?
Yeah, where are you from, bud?
I'm from England.
England. Okay. How did you find us?
I just was on YouTube and I searched lives and it just came up.
Okay. How long you been listening?
A good 20 minutes.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything to add? Go for it.
I just want to say a bunch of retards. Grow up. Fuck off, Dylan.
Hey, no, seriously. Listen.
Get alive.
Oh, wait. Jake, could I tell you something? Jake. Jake.
No.
Jake. No, seriously, you're very beta. You know that, right?
Listen to Dylan.
You're a fucking retard! You're a retard, you spastic fat cunt! You're a retard! You're a fucking retard!
But these kids are mentally ill. It's hilarious. I feel so bad for you guys, man.
Jake,
you guys are mentally ill.
Jake,
Damn.
I'd like to tell you, Jake. Jake, I'd like to tell you something. You're very beta.
I can see my house from here.
Hey, Jake, how old are you?
Fucking retard! You're a fucking retard!
Hey, what happened to
How long have you guys, Jake, you and your friend on the phone, you and your friend on Snapchat, how long have you been dating? Jake, how long have you been dating with this guy? Jake, please tell me how long you've been dating. Seriously.
Dylan, keep going. Dylan, keep going.
You know what? They're just kids, man. They're like 14 years old, dude. Just cut them off before they demonetize the stream or something.
Hey, what happened to JC? Did he leave on his? Did he lose connection? Or
Yeah,
did
he
he
said goodbye. He said goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they head out for the night.
All right. Well, I had to bring him on just because, guys.
I was hoping it would die down and we'd get to hear from him a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible.
No, they had nothing productive to say. They were just
No, not usually, but maybe we could learn something.
What
But,
time is it here? Oh, it's
What's
only 10:30. It's a little early for that. Usually that doesn't happen until about midnight.
We got a taste of the after dark.
Hold on. Anthony, come on. So we're getting closer.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, we got a taste of that after dark. So
No, don't blame me for that stuff.
Well, I'm happy that JC came on. I think he was an intelligent young guy. I think he added actually quite a bit of value to tonight for sure.
You did.
yeah.
Definitely.
I think he raised some great questions. I'm not quite sure. I don't know about you guys. I was trying to figure them out. Were you guys doing the same thing?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not really. I can kind of tell where he's coming from.
Yeah, but I mean, there's something about when you have an avatar.
I agree. And I found JC to be a little
Everybody knows who Nick is, so that's no issues, Nick.
I don't even. If I had a mic, if I had a camera here, I'd have it on.
Okay, but yeah, I mean that everybody knows who Nick is, so that's a non-issue. But when we do have an
I thought I
avatar,
was getting called out.
yeah, no, it's just
I'm joking.
it's just that we know everybody knows who Nick is, so that's a non-issue. But to like with JC having an avatar, sometimes again we were talking about evolution, so to me, whether it's you're actually face to face or we're like we are now, that's a big difference. To see somebody's face is different, So again, Nick, we know who you are. So that's a non-issue.
All right.
I found JC to be a little bit ambiguous when he was asked direct questions.
Yeah.
When he asked him about his relational status, his living arrangement, he seemed to avoid direct questions, and I never think that's a good mark.
To me, that's why I asked him that, because that context, that's kind of how if I don't see your face, at least I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, like if JC told me he was living in his mom's basement, I'd be like, what the, I mean, really, come on. That's so when somebody speaks, the context of kind of where they come from, their background, really, it helps me understand what they're saying and where they're coming from when they say it. So.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's nice to know that people are living a real life, you know, and when we get into that instead of, because like, you know, knowledge and information has its place, but when we actually see that people are living a real life out there, it's has an edification effect on the conversation and on people.
Well,
Yeah.
And Nick, I'm not sure if you would agree, but I've been noticing this more and more. I think we have an epidemic in this country, and I guess in the world we have an epidemic of intellectuals. Like, it's a serious problem.
I know what you mean, man. And I know what you mean because you know, I can get into that too a lot, and I remember just being really, really into that as well. And it has its place, but man, these like university academic types can be crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to see, but you know, the intellectuals exist with the Christians too. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys watch Jesse, but with the Christians, amongst the Christians, those are the people, the you know, he calls them the Bible thumpers, right? They're really into the Bible, or the ones that are really, or the people that are really into any other type of information, you know.
Intellectual is a well-read person to me who hasn't actually experienced that. That's what an intellectual is. That's what to me an intellectual is now. They've read so much that their brain is going faster than they can speak, and to me, that's an intellectual. That's an intellectual in this day and age.
Yeah, I think that's dead on.
I mean, somebody like to me, somebody that's probably most people would call him an intellectual. To me, I think he's just an absolute realist. Is Stefan Molyneux. I think he is just, you know, he's an intellectual guy, but he asks so many incredible questions, and he's one guy that can make you think.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I really like Stefan, and what he does.
Yeah, I just noticed that, and I, you know, because I talk to a lot of people on just like all, you know, all sides. Oh, I don't want to say like this. I guess it is a spectrum. It's just a spectrum of different ideas and ways of life and that sort of thing. And I notice with especially like younger people these days is that there is like a tendency towards this like intellectualism, and when I see that, like, to me it's and I've been there too, I've been there most of my life, to be honest about it. And so, you know, I joke sometimes that I'm like a recovering intellectual, but
I'm a recovering Bible thumper.
Recovering Bible thumper.
No
Yeah.
way. Is that Gene who said that?
Yeah, Nick,
Right
I was raised Pentecostal, Nick, by the way. And
no way.
Yeah, raised Pentecostal, and I do watch a lot of Jesse. Well, recently, I've just found him.
Nice, right on, Gene.
But it's great, man. Sorry about that, Gonzo. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's all good. I mean, like, but when I think of like these, like, you know, when I see intellectualism, I just see people who are just stuck in their thoughts, and that's really what it is. It's like they're playing with the ideas, and you know, that's what I see intellectualism as. It's like, you know, you're toying with ideas, and you're formulating these concepts, and you're trying to, you know, figure out where they fit, but you're not in the moment. You're not addressing the world from the moment. You're addressing it from this strange vacuum of the imagination. And
well said.
Yeah, I think, and there's value to that, but yeah, sometimes.
Right, and it has it like it's like a lot of my peers. And you were just talking about that they get like sucked into that intellectual world. I think a good way of explaining it is that, well, just talking about my peers, if you really think about it, it's intellectual is kind of almost not even the right word, because they're not really intellectual. They're not even using their own mind. They're using someone else's words in mind. They've just Googled something and they just kind of repeating something.
Let me ask
instead of knowing for themselves.
Fact checker Chris Gonzo Warren. What is the definition of intellectual?
That's a good question. Let's check Mary.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Because, I mean, I'm sure at one point it was basically meant as just like it was like, of relating to the intellect.
Smart guy.
Rational rather than emotional. That's another one.
Okay.
Right. I like that.
Mm-hmm. There's also given to study, reflection, and speculation. Engaged in activity requiring creative use of the intellect. So there you go.
Okay, here we go.
Intellect.
Anybody want to comment on this?
Before we do, I'm gonna sign off, guys. Like I said, I'm getting over being sick. I need to go get some rest. I'm sorry I gotta cut off early, man. But man, if I'm gonna get over this thing, I need to get some rest.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. And
Frank, we love you, brother, man. I'm so glad you're part of the channel every night, every Saturday night. I really do.
Yeah,
thanks,
Merry
man.
Christmas, Frank.
You add
too, guys.
you add so much value, and I appreciate you, brother.
Man, I appreciate you guys so much, man. You guys have a blessed night, and I will see you all on the other side.
All right, take care.
All right,
Good
Frank.
meeting you, Frank. Take care.
Take care. You too, guys. You too.
Good night.
Okay, anybody want to handle this right here?
I like this. Let's see. It's a reincarnation trap. Oh, yeah, you'll have eternal life, all right. Cycling back here over and over until you renounce the covenant of blood you voluntarily took on. And it says Romans 8:11. Now, let me actually pull up Romans 8:11 because I'm not terribly familiar with that.
Just so you know, Nick and Martin, we have a fact checker.
I wonder who it is. Let's see.
Hey, Tony, what's going on with Frank's screen?
No, Frank just signed out.
Hmm.
Sorry, let me.
Okay, so
But hey, Tony, speaking of that as well, I'm hopping off this chat just because I got to wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
Okay, brother.
I got to have an early thing before I go into work in the morning. So I just want to thank you for the invitation, gentlemen. You guys have been very insightful. I did take away a lot, and it was a pleasure to do this. And I think next time I'll be better prepared with less light behind me. I just really enjoyed this a lot tonight.
Martin, I love you, brother, man, and you're in my prayers always, just so you know. And I appreciate you coming on tonight. I really do.
I appreciate you, Tony. I appreciate each and every one of you. And Nick, it's nice hearing your voice here from Canada.
Yeah, what's up, Martin? It's nice hearing from you again, man. Take care and stay in touch.
Cheers, gentlemen. Have a good night.
Nice to meet you, Martin. See you.
Bye-bye.
And then
I'm starting to understand this here.
And then got another good night, Frank. And then we're going to go with this question right here. It's really not a question, but it's a statement.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go down to this. He will raise your mortal body. It says mortal body, mortal, a body subject to death.
Yeah. So the passage says, hang on, this is an NIV version. Let me get the King James here. But if the spirit of him raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you. That is the verse. So.
Oh, okay. I have no idea what that means.
I don't know either. Like that's like I have to smoke on that one.
Right.
Runaway Train, would you like to come on the live stream?
I know I do hear a lot of that talk with the Christians, even at church and everything. People like to talk about what is the afterlife, what's heaven like, what is and even with people who are not Christian, they'll be like, oh, so I just do this and that, and then I'll be able to go to heaven and all that. And I've never truly understood the whole go to heaven thing, the whole afterlife thing. I don't know. I just don't know if that's the point, really. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I really just don't know. But I have come to realize that there is a sort of heaven and salvation that can exist like right now, like in this world. So
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about reincarnation and all that, but maybe you can be reincarnated right now, be a new creature, be a new being, and shed all these things bringing you down, keeping you, holding you back.
Hey Nick,
Yeah.
I found godliness through masculinity and becoming a better man. Per se, I found God, right?
Right on. Yep.
So I feel that God or godliness is in every man, and to deny that is denying yourself. Is denying yourself as a man. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, Gene, you make a really good point, because I grew up, okay, just again, I guess maybe a little personal, but I grew up not like a man, like at all. I didn't grow up with a father, right? And I didn't know what it meant to be a man. For the longest time, I didn't know what was wrong, even. I didn't even know why I was a certain way. In fact, I thought a lot of my ways were normal because men around me were that way. Weak, my word didn't really mean a lot. I can go on, but I think you guys can understand. And so I didn't have that. I didn't know what that was. But when I realized, when I came back to that manhood within, and Jesse helped me find this. And for those that know Jesse, he talks about forgiveness, right? He talks about forgiving the person that traumatized you, the person that took your manhood away. And when I did that, and I returned to that kind of like manhood within, I realized now more and more that being a man is like the most natural thing. It's actually the most, like, how do I explain it? Because people say, oh, it must be hard. I've heard people say, oh, it's hard. It must be hard to be a man or be strong or be manly and all that. But, and I've come to realize, and I have I'm like growing, right? So I turn beta sometimes, but I've come to realize that it really flows from within. And I'm just trying to think, what is flowing from within? What is that? What could it be? It is something much deeper. Think about it for a second, guys. I didn't have a father. I wasn't taught this. I wasn't shown this. Men around me were weak. My peers are weak. So where is it coming from? It's coming from a deep, deep source. It's God, man. You can't, and I can't deny it.
Oh, one last question for you, Nick. Do you feel that every child, male boy, is born with God in him, with the spirit of godliness, with the spirit of God in him?
I think so. I do yeah.
Too. I do too, and I think what you were saying kind of reiterates that. I would agree with that.
Those young guys that were on earlier, okay, there were some kids, probably, how old would you say they were? 18, 19 years old?
No, not even.
Maybe not even. I don't know.
Younger.
Well, this wouldn't reach them because the way I have the setup on YouTube, it wouldn't, unless they, I don't know. It shouldn't reach them. Let's put it that way.
Okay, well, maybe so. Maybe they are.
What they know is, especially as they get a little older, they're going to know what's absolutely right and what's wrong. That is something that everybody knows. And I think you fight that at a certain age, probably 16 to 20. You fight that. You fight that. You know what's right and wrong. You know what I should do. That's when it really comes into reality, because you're entering the real world. Do you understand that, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's anger.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter if you were raised by a single mom. It doesn't matter if you were, like Nick was saying, he was, obviously you didn't have a father in your growing up.
No, actually.
Okay. So, but that's inherent in you to know that you're a man.
There you go. See, you exactly. Yeah. I think you bring up a really good point, Tony. It is within. It comes from within. So to try and learn it without, it would be. I think there are other men like Jesse, like Tony, what you do with your streams and stuff. I think you have a positive effect in the manhood within someone else, and you're not within that person. You're without, but you're guiding them back to that place within. So ultimately it's within. And so if you just learn it without, it's kind of false. But but these conversations, what you do, Tony, is important.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Everybody's been 16 years old, go to a party. No, you shouldn't be drinking. No, you shouldn't be doing the things you're doing. And it's just what I said. You know you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And you still do it.
You're doing it. You're definitely doing it.
So, but we get into why we're doing it, because I think you get to the point in your life, like I said, I think it's really in that, I'll even go a little lower, maybe 14 to 20. That's when it kind of molds your life. You know what's right and what's wrong. You know what you should be doing, but you choose to do the opposite.
Yeah, I think it's kind of at the stage where you gotta touch the stove yourself to find out that it's hot, not just what mom and dad told you.
I'm definitely like that. I was really stubborn. Still kind of am really stubborn.
Mom and dad are not cool.
It's an immaturity of mine.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, at that age, you're looking for most of the time at that age, I think it's validation from friends.
Sure, of course.
Hanging out with.
Of course it is, yeah.
You want to be cool. You want to be part of the gang. But the older you get, you almost find out that standing out is so much better.
Yeah. I stood out regardless. Through high school, just because of my upbringing, and I mean, my upbringing is something that molded me. I'll give you a little background, Nick. I did grow up with a dad and a mom, and was they're still married today. And I was raised in the Pentecostal home, and it was a great home. But going to school, especially being homeschooled from 3rd grade to 9th grade, I did stand out anyway. Not a whole lot, but at least internally, I felt like I stood out. You know, I didn't think like the others. I tried to, I did, but it just wasn't me. And so internally, I stood out within myself. Maybe not so much with everybody else, but yeah, that's a good point.
You know James Hake?
I do. I know him from Jesse, yeah.
James Hake, yeah, he was homeschooled. He stood
Hake
out.
news, not fake news. Hake news.
Yeah, you gotta meet James Hake. He was homeschooled too.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, he felt that. He talks about that too, how he felt internally. He felt like he didn't. But
Nick, that would be awesome some night if you could get Hake, Joel, Samuel.
Right on.
And everybody on this stream one night. I would love that.
That would be awesome. I know Samuel would love to, and I'll have to ask Joel.
Yeah,
I'm sure he would though, and James too. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
You can make it happen.
I think, you know, I watch Jesse. I watch the Hake Report every day. So, you know, not only did I meet you guys, but like Hake, I feel like I know him. I mean,
I know, right?
He's just you guys too. So, but I think that would make a very interesting live stream. You know, you guys.
Is there church tomorrow?
There's church. Yep, we're gonna be live.
Cool. Great.
Cool.
11 Pacific.
Nice.
So man, are you still Pentecostal?
Sincerely, no. I don't practice the religion. Obviously, I don't. I mean, they believe in, you know, short hair, no beards, those types of things. The religion aspect of it. Those are some of the best people that I know, though. They are family to me. They'll always be family to me. But from the religion standpoint, no, I don't practice it anymore. To me, it just it's. I mean, I can get into it, but it would be a little bit like the intellectual side of it. Is like, I see it more as a religion. It was more my mama's religion, you know, and I felt like that was kind of put on me a little bit. But no, I've developed my own spirituality now since then. So I don't practice being a Pentecostal anymore. Although I do love those people very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Did you just say those
relate?
Those people? you know, my grandpa was the pastor of the church, and he would reference that my grandpa was if he's not the number one molder of my life, that since I've gotten older and become a man, I don't know who else is, but he would reference that. He would say, folks outside the church reference us as those people. So I guess that's me now. But But no, those people are my family. You know.
Where'd
But
you
anyway,
Where'd you grow up? Out of curiosity.
South Louisiana, man.
What's that?
South Louisiana.
Oh, right on the way. That's
You,
cool.
you know what, Nick? If you're wondering where that accent is, that's New Orleans. That's New.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It is
cool.
what it is.
Yeah.
Nick. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's just weird that band is from Louisiana, but he's not Catholic. There's a lot of Catholics there,
There is.
and it's funny because they don't call their areas like counties, they're parishes.
That's correct.
And that's funny ways, but I like Pentecostals. I think they're very passionate people, and I think
They believe what the foundation of what they believe is a dynamic experience. They believe in experience, not so much a practice or a method so much or anything, but they believe a direct experience from God is the foundation of their beliefs. And so that's more of the religion aspect of it. And I've always lately I've turned against religion as a whole and just started looking for God directly and not so much through religion, because a lot of that was already taught to me, and I grew to resent it. I grew to resent religion.
Same.
And even, same for you, Nick.
Yeah, man. I grew up in a Christian home, but I rejected that very early.
Yeah.
And I think I did it over a girl too. Or at least I took the plunge. I remember I was kind of already like rejecting Christianity. Everybody was going to church and I stopped going. I became a nightmare to take to church. I would throw a fit and I became such a nightmare they would just leave me at home. And then but I wouldn't say I was atheist just yet. And then I think I remember it was sometime in high school I met a girl and that conversation came up and she said she was atheist and I was like, "Yep, I'm atheist. I'm atheist too." That's all it took.
Yeah. And just a couple of years ago, I really studied a lot of Eastern philosophy. Taoism, Buddhism, Zen. Not to say I associated with that, but I studied a lot of it, and it resonated with me immediately after my departure from practicing Pentecostal. And it was a cure for my ego. It was a nice high for my ego after separating from the mentality of the Pentecostal religion. But it's all strictly up here. It was never in here. And I was always told that I was the rebel and I broke all the rules, in church and things like that. I was the kid that broke all the rules. Not overtly, but in a peaceful way. But people that didn't like the fact that I broke the rules, they wasn't peaceful about it, but I was peaceful about it because I wasn't going to do something I didn't want to do. And so I've been able to find God in a different way. And that's a journey that is very dear to me right now. And I'm just looking forward to seeing where it takes me. Right, and Jesse has been a big part of that, believe it or not.
I know what you mean, man. I feel like it was the first time because like I was just saying, I basically was atheist, right? After that girl, I took the plunge and I was atheist ever since.
Yeah. I guess you could have said that. I never once said that there is no God, but I've said that I don't know, or would have been called agnostic by a lot of people per se.
Yeah, I was way more arrogant.
Yeah. So I never completely turned from God,
Yeah, I think for me, like I knew that, like, cause there was just I don't know what to call it, just a total darkness. I was just submerged in my imagination. I thought about making a video on this, but like people talk about, why are artists almost always mentally ill? And
so
it's just, it's like one of these things that people always come up with, and I'm like, that's why. I can guarantee you. And I was just listening. I don't know if you guys have heard of this this thing on YouTube. It's called like Blank on Blank. But it's like this animated series, and it's interviews with all these different writers and artists and things like that, and with some motion graphics and stuff. It's pretty cool. But I was listening to who did I listen to? David Foster Wallace, the dude who wrote Infinite Jest. He was a hardcore intellectual type guy, and he killed himself. It's very sad. but you can tell listening to all these guys, they are just like stuck in their imagination.
Yeah, they're stuck in their emotions.
Mm-hmm. And
Their
that's what it was
emotions.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of artists, a lot of emotional people turn to art to relieve that emotional outcry inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You
and
might
that's
be right.
yeah.
You think you can create? You think you can have that as a gift though? Because I know a lot of Christians. I know a few Christians who like they don't even want to dance. They think that that's like wrong. It's like sinful to like dance.
Creativity or emotion.
But do you think you could have that as a gift though? Because you know, to create art and stuff like that, I don't. Maybe you can do that.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I think
I
it's,
don't know how to explain it.
So why
how
are
you use it?
why are artists like eccentric? Why is an artist, you know, who was it? Van Gogh cut off his ear.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What? In other words, are they? Do you think they have to be in pain or in anguish to create that art?
I have an answer for that. Life is not satisfying enough. They want more. They want more out of it from an emotional standpoint.
That's like a narcissist, wouldn't it be?
Possibly.
Well, it could be. I mean, there's a lot of those in writing and in art, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't not every case.
What about Hemingway?
What about who?
He killed him. He killed himself too, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
All these guys killed themselves. Like,
Wasn't he married?
Time to fact check.
So Nick, what are you saying?
I don't know. Maybe one too many.
You know what?
Arguments.
Let's get our fact checker, because that's a question that I have never even thought of. Was Hemingway married?
Well, guys. Apparently, Hemingway. I'm looking at his Wikipedia here. It looks like he was married 4 times.
Okay,
So,
well, there you
yeah. Well,
I'm gonna say Hemingway had a lot of demons that he didn't address, and he wasn't the demons in his wife's wives either.
But I bet you could create and be an artist per se, even though no one is really an artist because it's just what you do. That's not your identity. But I bet you could do that and not be like I guess messed up. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I think you can have that as a gift, you know, and a gift doesn't come from comes from God, man. I think you can do that, and I think a lot of the times when you're making art, you have to kind of get into the emotional thing, but you can let it go after.
Like me as a carpenter, when I do, like, let's say I've done beautiful crown molding. In fact, I sent Man a picture one day. Would I consider myself an artist? Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, do I consider myself an artist because I create something every day? You know,
that's a good point.
But would I cut off my ear? Probably not.
Now, I don't know a lot about Van Gogh, but what I do know is that, first of all, I think he was broke for most of his life. He was very, very broke. And I also know that his mother threw away a lot of his artwork after he died, like just threw it away. So there's a lot of Van Goghs that we will never know. We will never see.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thought is that maybe his relationship with his mother was not that great.
There's something there.
There is something.
Willing to bet. I'm willing to wager.
I was telling Man this. We did a show. Oh, sorry. I don't want to. Tony, did you have something to say?
No, I was going to say, Nick, just so you know, to put, again, the context with Gonzo. Gonzo is an artist and an incredible artist.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned like graphic arts, like
yeah, I mean,
visual.
This is from one of our first live streams.
Oh, right on.
So he was doodling while you can see how the cow ate the cabbage down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Wait, look at that.
He talked about the gout, which is the and he was wearing the hat. Did we talk about music or play music that stream?
No, we just talked about it.
Okay.
We talked about it. Yeah.
But Gonzo is an incredible artist, and let me ask you a question, Gonzo. Is your stream of when I was on there when you were drawing, is that up on your YouTube?
It's not up. I'm actually gonna get some highlights from that one though.
Okay, because that's a great stream. So Nick, to put the artist thing in context, Gonzo is a great artist. I mean, I think he just does some incredible. He did a live stream. What was it, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Where he did a charcoal drawing while we were talking, and I had said we had talked about books. What book was I talking about? And you put it in the drawing.
You just said I think you just said put a book in the drawing. I'm trying to remember.
There was a reason why we said that. You know,
yeah, I mean, if you drew it with charcoal, man, you're serious. That's cool.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, incredible
all the way.
work.
Actually,
so if you need any artwork, Nick or Jesse does, Gonzo.
I was gonna say I'd love to have Gonzo's contact info.
Yeah,
I was gonna say actually, Nick, it's really funny that you're here because there was something that you had talked about on Jesse's show a few months ago that really moved me, and I was trying to think about it, right? Because we were talking about, like, you know, is artwork a gift? Is like producing art, is this a gift, or is it, you know, I don't think it's a curse per se. I think it is a curse if you're stuck in your imagination. Maybe it's some people's only reprieve. But I think, like, I realized, because I went back and I was looking through all these years, like, I mean, man, it's like almost my whole life making stuff, and it's just pure pitch black nightmares, you know.
I want to ask you a question, Gonzo. On your journey of life and where you're at this point, where is your art? Where is your passion for art right now?
Where's
what is your ego association with your artwork right now? Where is that at? Can you describe it, maybe?
I mean, I'm not sure I understand where you're coming from. Like, are
you more, has your art shifted? Has it changed as you've grown as a young man?
Yeah, you know what? So because, you know, when I got started, I would do some drawing. I would write a lot of short stories. I think the darkness is really apparent in my writing. But what happened was, so this year was, I mean, it's funny because in one sense I want to say this year has been a total nightmare, but it's been the best year of my life. I think it really has.
Right on.
It really has, because so, like, the year before, like in December, you know, California turning off the power, people losing their jobs, people going totally broke, losing their property, people's property value going down, mini recession happening. The freelancer law has changed in California. They made my job basically illegal, and I couldn't do freelance anymore. And I was like, screw it. I mean, I was like up against a wall at that point. So I'm just like, I'm just going to come down here to Texas. Came down here. COVID happened. And the whole time, just like you know, struggling with the imagination and all that stuff. And what happened was, as soon as I realized why I was angry, and I went and I, you know, forgave my mother, forgave my father. Yeah, like I Nick, I'm not sure if you were there that day, but I called in on Jesse's show. I hadn't talked to my dad in 10 years. Huh? Yeah.
I probably took your call.
Yeah, no, it was but yeah, I told him about it. It was like I hadn't talked to my dad in 10 years, and I called him up at like 6 a.m.
Wow.
And he had like just woken up, but yeah. After that whole thing, I looked at my like, man, I was just lost, because I'm like, this all came from darkness.
Yeah.
Like,
so where's your art now?
Yeah. Well, that's the whole. I'm having to rediscover everything. You know, I'm still.
I knew it. I knew it because I think the more messed up you are, your art will reflect it, and as you change, your art changes too. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of things to be passionate about because I've grown, especially from a spiritual standpoint. I've lost a lot of things that I was passionate about, and so it's interesting.
I think we need to be clear about that. Gonzo did not do the artwork for this. He didn't do the artwork for this. I want to make sure. I want to make that clear, but I also want to make clear that he didn't do the artwork for this.
Dang, he's bringing up topics. I was just at the grassy knoll.
Okay. But this is the grassy knoll. Do you see what this says?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but this is a book you can't read. I want everybody to know you can't read that. So even if you rewind this video, and you can get it on Amazon for about $53, but you should never read it, and you can't read it. I just want to let everybody know that. And Gonzo had nothing to do with the artwork for those two books. I just want to mention this. I know it's not really that important. Just want to mention that in passing. Sorry.
I want to hear what Gonzo has to say, though. Yeah.
I can. Where were we at again? I'm trying to think. Like,
you're having to rediscover your art.
Yeah, Yeah. So, that's the thing, you know. So, I've always been into horror. I've always been into creepy, dark, strange things. And so to kind of have this moment of like, like, what do I do now? Like, sometimes I would just make art and I'd be angry, or I'd be depressed, or I'd be, you know, all over the place, just roller coaster constantly, all the time. And making music with the same problem with everything. And so then now I take a moment and I just like, I'm like, wow, I don't know what to do. And so I'm trying to, I guess, reconcile that. I'm trying to like figure out, you know, where to move on. My artwork is still dark. I think it probably always will be dark, but rather than it coming from a place of like resentment or coming from a place of, I guess, disgust, it's kind of more admiring the hope, admiring the beauty. Like the way Ivan Throne talks about how it's a dark world. You know, I think maybe that's kind of how it is with what I'm trying to do with art.
And if you're good at it, there's a place for that kind of stuff too.
Well, yeah, and like
Gonzo, let me ask you a question. Let's say I ask you to draw me puppies, butterflies, and candy canes. Would that be dark if you drew it?
I mean,
would the puppy be like, you know, hanging off a rope? And would the candy canes be like stuck on his throat? Would the butterflies have like, you know, have fangs?
I mean, you know,
you understand what I'm saying? Do you see?
That actually wasn't the first thing that came to my mind, but like now that you think about it, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Oh, I mean, I like you just said, like puppies and like candy canes and stuff. I'm like, I'm just imagining all that stuff in like a grassy field or something.
And butterflies.
And butterflies.
But if he asked you to do it, you could do that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, like,
you make a good point, Tony. I don't know if that's the point you're trying to make, but it's like, why have you identified with?
Yeah.
With just making horror and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I think, you know what, but when like early on, my justification for it, I guess, was that you know, was looking at things that people don't really like to look at and actually address them. Like, let's address the elephant in the room. And I mean, to be honest, a lot of it's just monsters and stuff. It's just fun, you know. It's just like whatever. I can't really say it means anything. That's the other problem too, is that my artwork didn't really. I've had trouble reconciling like what is the meaning behind this, because a lot of it's just an image. It's just like something that you just think of, and it's like, oh, that, you know, that'd be pretty visually cool to see that. or it'd be, be kind of.
Do you think that the images you draw are a part of you? You're trying to say something with the images?
That's a really good. That's a
when
good
you
question.
get into Michelangelo and Van Gogh and God, who's the one who's really weird? Kind of abstract.
Picasso?
Picasso?
No, not Picasso. Picasso is abstract. Oh God.
Here's what I think. I think those guys draw images on things that are meaningful to them that they understand, but no others won't understand them, and that's what makes it art. Is that for them, they understand it. They know what it is. They know what that representation of their emotion or their spirit or their image that they have that they put onto that canvas. They know what the emotions that invokes that they feel, but the element of mystery comes in. How are others going to perceive that? And I think that's what excites artists in a lot of ways. At least when I would create things, that's what would excite me. Is how is someone going to see this? What emotions am I going to invoke in someone else from this painting or artwork or whatever, knowing what it invokes in me? And I think that's how I would answer your question, Tony.
Yeah.
No, it's not Salvador Dali. That's a real great guess, though. Damn it! I wish I could remember his name.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think about it. I think now when I make artwork, I mean, part of it, it's like how it's like smoking a cigar or a pipe or something like that. Like for me, it's kind of just like
transitions.
It's for lack of a better term, it's like a Zen thing. I like it because it gets my eyes off of the screen. I like it because, I can listen to stuff while I'm working on it too. And so, but I feel like there's like, again, for lack of a better term, like an emotional detachment. I'm not angry when I sit down to make things.
That's cool. Yeah.
Like that. So, I'm not longing for anything. I'm not like, nothing like that.
Jackson Pollock.
Oh yeah, the one with the splatters.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. I had to do my own fact checking. So that's the artist that now. What is that art? Gonzo, you're an artist. You take that one.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Jackson Pollock intended when he made those, but what I can say is that, I mean, for all I know, some of these artists who make abstract or they do like, shapes, like what was that dude's name? He did a bunch of art for the Soviets, and it was like he used geometric shapes. He used like squares and rectangles and.
Are you talking about?
He was a Russian guy, and I can't.
Architect guy?
I'm not sure if he was an architect. It was. I don't remember his name, but he did like this famous. It's like 3 rectangles, and I can't remember what the hell the guy's name was, but for all I know, he was just trying to make something that was, he just thought that looked visually cool. I don't know. So I think some of it's super pretentious. Some people are trying to inflate the meaning.
This is actually a sculpture, okay? And I've realized it's Anthony's Mysterious Ladder.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. This is a sculpture that I took a picture of today. It's an art sculpture. It's an art sculpture.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Nick, as I was saying, I just thought it was kind of. I think it's great that you're here because there was something that you were talking about on Jesse's show a few months back that inspired me, and I was like, wow, actually, this would be a great idea for a piece of art. I want to see if maybe you can recognize it. I know I shared it on here.
No, wait, really?
If I can.
Gonzo,
I don't. There's no way I said anything that's inspiring. I'm joking.
Gonzo, I was thinking of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Frank Lloyd Wright. I'll
The architect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't him. It was like, I want to say his initials were like MV or something like that.
You got a show?
Wasn't there a recent ban on architecture, on like modern architecture
Not that I know of.
Oh.
for federal buildings? I think that was Trump or something like that.
Okay.
Now I'll show you a picture that I think of when I think of where Tony lives.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see here, entire screen.
You can see it really well. And
Yeah,
it's
that's pretty much it. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. You got the beach. It's got all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that comes
Accurate?
out very well.
No, you're
Yeah.
correct, Anthony. You're correct. Yeah, that's pretty much
That's
my life. Yeah.
yeah, that's all you do. You don't bother doing any work. You drink all day.
I just drink Mai Tais on the beach. Yeah. That's all.
Hey, Tony,
Yeah.
living on a beach gets old just like anywhere else, right?
That's why I'm moving to Arkansas or Texas in about 50 years.
Really? Are you're thinking of moving, Tony?
Yeah, I actually am. I have a price point on my home, and I'm like,
No, wait. So wait, where do you want to go? Arkansas?
I want. You know what? I found a piece of property. It's about 38 acres, a nice 1,200 square foot house sitting in the center of it. I mean, to me, that's heaven. That's as good as it gets.
Any reason or?
I've been here for almost 27 years.
Right.
Neighbors are exactly 20 feet from my house. So I think that I would love to see stars at night. I would love to not hear weed eaters, blowers, lawnmowers on the weekend.
Right.
Amen. Amen.
I mean,
That's cool. I want to see so much. I want to see so much of America. It's so cool.
Oh, there it is. Sure. Can you
yeah,
guys
there's
see
some
that?
artwork Gonzo does.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, is
okay.
this you, man? This is your work?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his newest one.
That's the
Yeah.
this is by hand. This is charcoal.
It's actually no. It's actually digital. This
Oh,
one's
was
digital.
digital. Yeah.
Oh, digital.
digital.
Okay, that's
But
cool.
I
man.
emulated charcoal.
I've been trying
for
to
this
get
one.
into that a little bit.
Yeah, I
I
wanted to
myself
see
a little
if you could
graphics
recognize
tablet.
it. Oh
It's
yeah.
like is that like pallbearers?
Now I know the answer, but Gonzo, go ahead and ask the question.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I wanted to see if you could recognize who this image represents or which story this
Whoa.
represents, Nick.
Wait. And you were saying something I said?
Yes.
Mhm.
It was
No
on Jesse's
way.
show.
This is heavy. Wait. What? Is that money?
Yeah,
Is that him in money?
he's in money.
Something to do with medical.
There's no way. That's so cool. I didn't even think I'd say anything that would affect anybody.
Yeah,
Oh man, I'm trying to think. And so there's something that was on the show. That's cool, man. This is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
Because I know the answer.
Modern medicine is burying people in their money. Maybe.
It was a men's history moment. If that helps narrow it down.
Oh, it was one of my men's history moments.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm cheating. I'm going through my notes. What is? Wait, don't tell me. That's cool, man. Men's history moments. It was like on a person.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes. It was a few months ago.
I know for
Several
men's
months
history
ago.
moments. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't Henry Ford, was it?
No, not Henry Ford.
Oh, was it when I did Paul? No.
No.
I'm cheating. I'm looking at my nose. That's not working. I don't know, man. I can't think of it.
Gonzo, give it away, man, because when I remember who guessed it? Who guessed
Oh,
this?
it was my friend Adam.
Yeah.
Adam. He
Okay, Adam guessed it. And it was my guess too.
Yeah, it
So,
was Alexander the Great.
Oh, the King of Macedonia. That
Yeah.
was a good episode.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So that's true. That's true because he had his hands on. Oh, dang. That's killer.
Tell him why you drew it like that.
Why I drew it.
Killer.
Yeah. In other words, explain the drawing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously he wanted to be buried with his hands on the edge of the coffin, right?
Yeah, he asked for this.
Yeah, and he because he leaves this world empty-handed, and then he wanted his wealth all around him and his gravesite because his wealth is but dust, it means nothing, and he wanted his physicians to be to carry him out or to be around him, I think. And it was because no doctor can save you from death, and that was all three things he had realized right before he died.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, I
That's
was
cool, man.
just like,
I
wow.
really like that.
Yeah, but I dug that. It just like really resonated with me, and I was like, wow, And months later, I'm trying to think of like what to paint, and I'm like, oh, that's such a killer idea. What if I did like an abstraction of that? So.
Nice work, Gonzo.
Yeah, that's deep, man. That's cool. I like that.
That was done digitally, so that was kind of cool. Because I asked you the same thing. Did you do it in charcoal? But
That's very nice.
Digital, whatever. So.
Yeah.
If you know what, do you have any of your artwork close by?
Yeah. Here I can. Actually, here I'll try and pull out something new. I haven't actually pulled out the charcoal in a hot minute, but I've sketched down a couple ideas. It's mostly because I've been working on other things, but this is like not sure if I can get a clean shot of that, but that's just a sketch that I'm working on. We got like a tunnel with some bricks, and we got some eyes and some ears growing out of it or something. I don't know. We got something weird going on there.
Log into your YouTube and pull this video up, and you can comment in the public chat.
I'll pull out the usual here. I've got my sketchbook. Actually, this is a dark one, right? But I don't think I've shown this one on here. But this is you see here we got Satan on the phone over here.
Oh yeah.
See, I actually like that stuff. I like that kind of like horror stuff, and
you see where the phone cord leads. But that says never again. But yeah, I wanted to kind of like represent the thoughts that people have, so
true. That's what I was thinking of when I saw that.
Yeah, and this is I was making a video on sin.
You're muted, Tony.
And so got that one.
Or is it the thoughts that you are having, Gonzo?
What are the thoughts? Actually, you know what I can, and you know what, this is how I know is because when I made this
is this
one,
a mirror into the soul?
Yeah, is this a mirror?
Is this the mind of Gonzo?
It's a good question, but when I knew because when I drew this, I was like, it's not like I was like having these types of thoughts or anything. I just thought it would be a neat idea to because it's real. It's like let's abstract something that's already there, And I know this is something that people struggle with. It's something I've struggled with. So, and let's see, like where's
describe it again, Gonzo. Describe the art again. Married to the phone.
Oh yeah, well it's like you have you got Satan on the phone, and then where does Satan's like whispering to you through the phone, and then you've got the phone cord is a noose on the other end there, and you've got the.
I got it.
Yeah, and I did this. This one. This is for my video. Why you stop being a Christian. And I mean, I can't really tell you what this means or what this is, but again, it's just kind of.
Is that some sort of a demon pulling the angel back or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if these are lost souls with vines growing through them or something. I don't know. Some tortured people.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. Yeah, and then you've got the skeletal. Damn, it's hard to manage with this camera.
I see it now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
A lot of suffering and dying in that image.
Oh, what
That
was
looks
it?
good.
A lot of suffering and dying in that image.
Oh, yeah. Suffer and die.
Sometimes you gotta suffer and die to your old identity. That's what I had to do. I had to suffer and die to my identity of God and who I thought God was. That had to die for me to recreate that, or to reconnect with it, the truth of it.
Yeah.
Gonzo, you should offer that image on your channel. Just my suggestion. The last one you showed us. Last two. Those are both good. I think people would buy them. Yeah. Just the prints. Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, I think people would be interested in buying them. I'm just saying.
Well, Anthony, let me ask you a question. Would people be interested in buying tactical soap?
Well, of course. I would.
Just so you guys know, it's 2 hours, 30 minutes into this stream. Somebody that is this far into the stream right now, if you leave a comment in the comment section, it is Christmas time, and I'm going to send you some tactical soap. This is pheromone infused soap. Nick loves it. Man loves it. Anthony loves it. Gonzo loves it.
Nice new packaging.
Yep. This is the new stuff. So, yeah, this is the sequel. But somebody that leaves the best comment that refers to tactical soap and why I should send you some soap. Again, pheromone infused soap with CologneSticks, of course. As long as you're in the lower 48, I'll send you some. Best comment in the comment section. That is the comment section of this live stream, and I will send you some soap for sure. So,
yeah, it was good stuff. I went through that. I went through it. First, I was using the was it Bond?
Yeah,
that stuff was great.
Mm-hmm.
We all had some here in the office, right? And we kept joking around. We're all pheromoned up. we're all using tactical soap. We become dangerous to the world now.
Yes, you are dangerous.
You know, we had an office full of men all pheromoned up. We didn't know what could happen.
Well, if there's any women around, just be careful.
I know we had one lady at the front desk, and
oh boy,
I don't know.
Had a bunch of Bond over at Bond.
I can imagine.
So this isn't Frank Lloyd Wright.
Joel doesn't need that much help though, so you gotta bring him back a little bit. Jeez.
Oh, Joel?
Yeah, no more help for him.
This is a sketch of downtown Pasadena.
Oh, you made that?
Yes, from the rooftop. From the rooftop.
Awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You did that?
Yeah. Did it on the fly. I was up on the roof. That's the city hall, and this is that's a very famous church.
Well, who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
Wow.
But I still got to work for a living, you know.
Anthony, I'm impressed, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, what medium is that? It look like colored pencil or?
Yeah, just color pencil. I do some watercolor sometimes. I love watercolor, but can't seem to control it. But I love watercolor. I just like to draw things I see. But I do like I like Gonzo's interpretation. Crazy stuff. That's beautiful too. You know, in your mind, what you see, you can't recreate in life, but it's great. It's like sci-fi.
So we have two different artists. We have an artist, Anthony, who recreates what he sees, and we have Gonzo, who recreates what he sees in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Or just retell stories in a way.
Yeah. I just thought the architecture is beautiful. Sometimes you live in certain parts of the country where you have beautiful architecture. We have some here. Probably have a lot more in the East Coast. And it's just beautiful to, you know, to draw it. You can't beat it. It's awesome what people can come up with, you know.
Yeah.
You know, even, you know, whether it's the pyramids of Egypt, Rome, all this. I mean, how can you beat that kind of stuff? It's just awesome. And sometimes different light kind of plays on it. You see it from different perspectives, maybe some perspective no one's ever seen before. And if you can draw real quick, you know, it's even better than taking a photograph. You can really.
Guys, I'm an artist. Can I show you something that I made?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I saw it in an art show, and I'm like, wait, that's like $300. I think I can make that. This is what I made.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
That's right. That's right. You do
Oh,
you work with carpentry. I always forget.
The teeth are sharp. This is hanging in my kitchen right now.
That's a weapon.
Yeah. This is my kind of art. This is a bonefish.
That's cool. I love that. Yeah.
You know, I saw something in an art show, and I'm like, wait, why is he charging like, you know, $300 for that?
All right, I have to go get my art now.
I can make that in about 10 minutes. So that, you know, I did a video on one of my videos. Is it's not this version. This is made with wood. There's a backing to it. But I showed people how to make them out of like plywood. So
Yeah, I saw that. You did like the one-piece version.
yeah,
on the
yeah,
video,
yeah. So I think a lot of people are artistic and don't know it. To me, I don't. I look at something like that and I'm like, wow, you know, that was cool. When I was at the art show, I'm like, I can totally make that in like 2 seconds. But I think it's, you know, I know me and Gonzo have talked about it before, but the way you draw, I had said, remember we talked about this? I could never draw like that. And you said it's practice.
Yeah.
I think it really is.
I look at drawing. I don't have the patience for it, but this is something that I kind of came up with a long time ago. Not too terribly long ago.
That's cool. I dig it.
take a heart.
Oh, bro, you got some issues.
I had some issues at the time, so yeah.
Holy Christ. There's the barbed wire around your heart. And you have the yin and yang.
Look, it's playing. Look, got some. Oh yeah, got some music. Got some music right here.
Wow.
Got some music.
Let me ask you a question. Have you forgiven your mother?
You want to talk about it?
No, at the time I was still beta. truly was. Not anymore.
Hey, right on.
When did you do that? How long ago?
That was 2017, actually. Yeah.
You painted. That's canvas. So you painted that.
I painted it. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were serious about that one.
I guess so. I guess I was.
That's good. That's good.
Does anybody have a favorite artist? Who's your favorite artist? I'm going to tell you mine, who's a favorite living artist, and that's Weiland. Are you guys familiar with Weiland? Weiland Gallery. I have a Weiland on my wall here, and it's not a cheap. It's a lithograph, but they're very expensive anyways. So, but he is my favorite living artist. So Gonzo, who would be your favorite living artist?
You can't give me the easy ones, Tony. I'm trying to think.
Anybody can think of a favorite dead artist. I mean, let's get real.
Yeah,
he dead.
I mean, he dead. Like, I mean, my first thought. I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's just so many artists that I enjoy. Just depending on the season, it's kind of hard to just pick one. But like, you know, right off the top of my head, you know, MC Escher, pretty cool. I think he dead.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
dead.
know. Favorite living artist though, I'm trying to think. I know there's got to be one. There's an artist very similar in style to what I do. David Romero, the guy draws a lot of monsters. He's really.
Oh
good.
yeah.
He did my book cover. You know David Romero?
Am I thinking of the right guy? The guy who does zombies?
No, that's George.
Okay, George Romero.
Oh, George Romero. Yeah. I don't know if they're related.
You said that.
Yeah. No, David Romero. He's like an animator and he's a painter. He did my book cover for my book from a couple years ago, but yeah. He's really good. Actually I think he's around here in the San Antonio area, but yeah.
Has anyone ever Has anyone ever heard of Fernando Botero? Fernando Botero. Anyone ever heard of him?
Can't say I have.
No.
Anyone familiar with this kind of artwork?
Yeah, that looks
Oh,
familiar.
Yeah.
Well, it's Mona Lisa, but it's kind of
Kinda.
She thick. That's what.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Mona Lisa.
He paints a bunch of thick people.
A bunch of
He paints a bunch of fat radical.
It's hilarious, man. We were talking about him. We were talking about this guy today. This is some of his artwork.
Okay, guys, I'm going to bring in somebody. I'm not sure who this is, but it's Tamara Phillips. We're going to bring her on real quick. Tamara, please identify yourself as soon as I bring you on.
Hello, hello.
Oh my
Nice.
Lord.
Oh no.
What the?
What the? We just got trolled
Amazing.
hard.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Hey now.
It's after dark now.
I
What time?
think that's
So this
TOS.
is
Yeah, it's
so
11.
this is
Yeah, it's after dark. In fact, it's
It's
10
after-
minutes after dark. Why didn't I recognize that? So,
so this is Mark Bruno. He must be a local artist
That's
somewhere around here in Southern California. I don't know if you guys can see that. He
That's
does a
cool.
lot of this kind of stuff. Yeah, this kind of his forte, like sci-fi, old school sci-fi stuff. I just thought it's cool, but you see him a lot of the the craft art shows around here. And let me try to say, yeah, his name is Mark Bruner. Mark Bruner. Yeah, Mark Bruner. Anyways, he does a lot of that kind of stuff. So if you guys are interested in him, whenever I go to we have something around here called the Jackalope Festival, and it's in our Central Park here. You guys might have something like that in your area. I don't know if it's all around the country. I'm not sure. It's called the Jackalope Festival, and then and he's one of the artists that's commonly in there, and he does this kind of weird sci-fi stuff. But that's kind of cool. I mean, I got his magnet. I couldn't afford his picture, and of course an original picture. I couldn't afford that, but his magnet's pretty cool, whatever. But that's he does a lot of old school sci-fi.
Nice. Yeah, I could tell it's old school sci-fi for sure. I just want to put this out there that tonight's show wouldn't be possible without the trolls. The trolls are definitely making tonight's show possible. And thank you all.
Yes. Amazing.
Don't join the live stream. Oh man, don't join. If you haven't forgiven your mother, forgive your mother first, then join the live stream. That's the only way.
You guys seen everybody, all those people? There's a lot of people online who are like really mad with the Pornhub changes. Have you heard about the news with Pornhub that they're
of course.
What are the
there's
changes?
a bunch of people. Well, they're deleting a bunch of content because they've been getting like people are saying that there's underage content on there, so they're like really cleaning it up.
Yeah.
And so people are really mad about that, but it's crazy how deep this stuff is.
all right, I'm going to ask a serious question. I could die tonight. You guys never see me again. Gonzo, man, that's why I'll text you all my YouTube information so you can carry on my legacy. If I die, my phone and my computer and my history, I don't care how far you go in the hard drive, is 100% clean. Okay.
Right.
You know, there is absolutely nothing in my life. I have no skeletons. And that's the way it is. Gonzo, you're next.
Wait, what?
Skeletons
are you
or no
coming for me?
skeletons?
Oh, skeletons or no skeletons? Okay. I'm about to say, I'm next. I'm like, whoa. I I gotta watch out here. No,
I think we know the answer.
Yeah, the I mean, like that. That's a good question though. Like I was thinking about it. I'm like, things that I think would have been skeletons for me. I just talk about them now, like my family, like family relations. Talk about the darkness, being angry, like all that kind of stuff, like stuff that I would have been ashamed of.
History.
Oh, search history. That's I
And
mean
your
I got
hard drive. Your
Yeah, no,
answer's taking
nothing.
too long to answer.
Is my freaking my art is the worst thing on here. That's
Take it
that's
as
all I
yeah.
got.
Am I
You're
next?
stuttering. Stop it.
Yeah, no, none of that.
Okay.
Oh my
good.
god.
Am I next or is it Gene?
Go ahead, Nick.
Hell no.
Hell no.
The reason I say that is
You can't look at my search history or anything. And here's the problem. My generation like grew up, like we got traumatized for breakfast. And so with this kind of stuff, and I was talking about this with Jesse, right? He comes from a different time, and he was just talking about how, like porn and all that stuff, that was never a thing at all for him, and for him growing up, and that it just wasn't like that he can't even imagine wanting to look at like an image like in that way.
I heard
it wasn't a thing like that. I remember in fact I remember the first time I ever saw stuff like that. I was so young. I was really young, and I had just been given I was always allowed on the computer, right? I was always allowed on the computer. Nobody really cared. And so one time as a kid, I'm just a kid, right? I'm just like, let me type in sex.com. And then what I call a tornado. I got hit with a tornado. One popped up after the other. I would keep Xing one, and then another one would come up. So I had to just disconnect it from the wall. And then I was just left there, eternally changed, traumatized.
You called that a tornado?
That's what I call it now in retrospect. I mean, what else is it?
I have never heard that before.
A tornado. And so I was hit, and then so I go in, I unplug the computer as a little kid, forever traumatized and changed. And but it's deep. This stuff is deep. I don't know a single one of my peers that doesn't have this issue and struggles with it. It's really deep.
Really?
No, I don't know a single one. Everyone I know, every one of my peers, my age, my generation, has watched it, does watch it, thinks it's okay, or at least I don't know. It's just something. It's a really interesting topic because a lot of my peers don't talk about wanting to overcome it.
Yeah.
When it's something you can totally overcome, you can 100% overcome it.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Yeah.
I've never been one to be dependent on it, but man, there's some people that are dependent on it like a drug. It's insane.
It is. It's like a drug, like sex is. But it's so interesting to think about the different generations, because when Jesse talks about it, he's just like, I just wanted the real thing.
Yeah, but
like, dang, I'm a loser.
It's porn is not set at. It's not.
What's that?
Yeah, I just did that. I just did that for Tony's amusement. But I said it's porn is not set at.
Oh, okay.
No, and that's what's so interesting about it. But man, people really have a lot of issues with it.
It's crazy. So, hey, look.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely a problem. It really is.
Yeah. But to like Tony's question, hell no, you can't look through my stuff.
Oh man,
it's called I'm not anymore. It's called overcoming, right? Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious to what
you can't look at my hard drive.
Actually, you know what? I googled Nick Gonzalez. I wanted to put a face to his voice. I wanted to see what guy it was. You're the dark-headed guy, right, Nick?
Yeah.
With the beard, kind of chin strap thing.
I have a beard now. Yeah, I've had a beard for a bit now.
Okay, so that's you. Yeah.
I'm not the one with the spacers in his ears or the spiky hair.
Jesse's always saying he looks Mexican.
Yeah, that guy.
I got a lot of news in my feed, but nah, my shoot far as porn, no, you ain't gonna find porn.
Right on, Gene.
Nick is the anchor, baby.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy what my generation has been subjected to with the internet.
Yeah.
I just did a segment too, and it was like, it's crazy. I think it was, I forget the percentage too of people exposed to it, like under 16.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was something you guys did about that about a month ago. What was that?
Oh, when we were talking about that one girl. Were we talking about a girl?
Yeah. You was talking about the girl. Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
So it's kind of this topic too, because it was the news that Pornhub wanted to change their rules and all that, and the backlash about it. But I brought it up on the show because nobody wants to talk about what went wrong with this girl's life that she wanted to get into that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No one wants to address the root problem. I think.
Yeah. They want to say, this is just a big evil company, or men are just disgusting people who want to objectify women, but nobody wants to say what went wrong with that girl's life that she would allow herself to be objectified and put into that position.
Yeah.
I am hoping, in fact, I talked to Gonzo and Man. Just so you know, Gene, we call him, his nickname is Man. But I had talked to both of them. I have hopefully an interview coming up with a OnlyFans girl who is in the top 1% of OnlyFans.
Right
so I think that's going to be very interesting. So
that's cool. I got tuned in for that.
I am going to put her on the hot seat. So
right on, man. No, that's really cool. I'm definitely tuning in.
Yeah.
I'm leery of that whole 1% thing. I feel like there's some kind of trick there. These girls are getting tricked somehow. Because I know a lot of people. There seems to be a lot of these OnlyFans girls being in the top percentages of this website. I'm like, how can you all be in the top percentages? But whatever.
Well, it's just like, what's crazy is like this YouTube channel is in the top 5% of YouTube.
Oh, I see. I'm not understanding.
At about 1,200 subscribers, because there's so many doing it.
I'm following you.
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
You look at most YouTube subscribers. What do they have? No subscribers or zero subscribers. So,
well, right on, Tony.
I'm going to see if we can get her on right now, just because.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that'd be cool.
I think this would be interesting.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, Anthony? I know you're looking like you got to say something, Anthony. Let's hear it.
So if you did a search on my history, you wouldn't find the porn thing. Just because I'm smart enough not to do that shit. And really, the porn's a dead end. Anyways. Logically, it doesn't even make any sense. But
I'm telling you guys, it's the different generation. That's cool.
Yeah. That. Well, I'm 50, so I'm 50, so it's like I'm basically just a little bit younger than Tony, and it's like we always do that. That's dirty shit, dude. You don't put that on your phone. You don't watch that shit.
That's respect.
That's bullshit, dude. I mean, if you want to see a naked woman, get her naked.
You do it for real.
Yeah. Get her naked. It's not that hard, dude.
You do it for
But
real.
People say when you take a good thing and you keep someone from a good thing, it becomes perverted.
Yeah.
In their own way. I mean, I know I'm not describing that right, but maybe y'all know what I'm talking about and can reiterate that. Sort of the whole thing with people, like what they call them, eunuchs, or the people who abstain or abstinent for spiritual reasons, and some of those people have done some messed up stuff sexually because it was perverted in a way maybe y'all can touch on that a little bit.
But I would say for me, it's like some of the things that I had said about, or just just been frank about real life. I mean, and some people might say that's racist or sexist or whatever, or nationalist. But I would stand by it. I don't care. But 50 years from now, they might think, "Oh, this guy's crazy." To think that this kind of person was the kind of person that would do this kind of thing, and you could easily pick them off and say, "Yeah, this kind of person would do that." But anybody in the street, anybody knows, if you live in a big city and you haven't been blind, you know damn well who's doing what. It's not a mystery. But to speak about it on camera or email or whatever, I mean, if someone searched that, of course, I mean that's how I live my life, man. I take the shortcut, man. I'm not taking the long road because I want to survive. I want to survive, dude. I don't want to take the damn long road and say, "Oh yeah, that guy's okay." No, that guy's gonna fucking rob your ass, dude. You gotta fucking wake up. So I mean, I did that, and of course, that kind of search now. Maybe now it wouldn't be that big of a difference. In 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, yeah, he goes, "Oh my God, this guy Anthony was a fucking racist. He was a homophobe, a transphobe, a goddamn what? He was just a fucking phobe, man. I'm not a phobe. I'm just trying to protect myself. I'm just trying to protect myself, and I'm speaking truth. And actually, guys, I speak truth. I just speak my truth. I'm not speaking anybody else's truth, just my own truth. And it might not be a normal truth, but quite honestly, I think, I'm talking about regular shit. This has been regular in the 80s and 90s. In my time, it's been regular shit, dude. Been regular shit, all this pussy mask wearing bullshit would have just been like, I don't even know what the fuck people say. Be like, holy shit, dude. It'd be like wearing high waters.
Tony, I was just gonna say, would you post his comment? I like that comment.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of true.
Mm-hmm. It's a different kind of man. I was just talking to a group of friends from Canada. I was messaging them, like a group that we maintain contact with, and I was asking them, "So when are you guys gonna get out there and start protesting?" And they're like, "What do you mean, dude?" It's just the state of men, I guess.
Well, there's a big difference, I think, between protesting and standing up. True. I think standing up it means when the time is right. When somebody confronts you or somebody asks you a question, that's, to me, protest and standing up are two different things in a big way. To me, if somebody was to ask me, "Oh, why aren't you wearing a mask?" which I don't know why people don't ask me. I truly don't.
That's true.
Everybody else got hassled, and I'm like, why does nobody hassle me? I mean, why do I get no kickback at all?
I noticed that when we were in Florida, and there was people even when we were together. There was people even around us with masks.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's just the air you had about you. Literally, nobody messed with you. So we follow your lead. I think I even had a mask on, and then I just kind of followed your lead, took it off, but nobody said anything to you.
No, nobody ever. So
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that question because we all have masks, don't we?
Are you talking? What's the word I'm looking
for? My small mask, it doesn't work.
That's what I'm looking for. Is that a?
My small mask doesn't work. We all have them. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, but you're in California again, so.
Are we officially after dark now?
Oh, it's been after dark for about an hour now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since I had that one guess.
The whole mask thing is interesting. It really is. You're separate. You're standing out for sure. When you don't wear it. I'm the only one that I can see when I'm in any public building that doesn't have a mask on. Did I tell y'all what happened? I was at the store the other day. Not even 20 minutes. I think I told y'all
God
this.
bless you.
Yeah. And the store manager comes up. He says, "Hey, man, just, I've had 25 to 30 people complain to me." And I thought, I've only been here not even 20 minutes. And 25 to 30 people complained to the store manager in less than 20 minutes about me not wearing a mask. And I'm just like, this is where we are.
Your own neighbor will tell you.
Yeah. And it's like, I would never tell them anything for wearing a mask, but they're going to go jump the store manager to get him to come tell me something. It's like, whatever, fine, okay, no hate, whatever.
Yeah,
It's like China.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
Too much group think, not enough independent thinkers.
Well, I think I shared this with you, man, the other day on the phone when I was at Winn-Dixie, when the guy asked me, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?" Or what did he say? "You're not wearing a mask." And he had it right here. And he had said to me, again, "You're not wearing a mask." I said, "No, why do I need one?" And his response, man, I told you this. I told you this. He said, "My wife is making me wear it." And my response to him was, "How's that working out for you?"
Oh man.
That was it. And he just laughed. We went on our way. So
that's hilarious. I was minding my own business. I think I was on my phone, but I was in the store again. And a mom and her young son, probably no older than 19 or 20, come walking up and they both had these huge smiles. And I didn't know these people. They come up to me and say, "Excuse me, sir." I looked up, they're both just grinning at me like they knew me. She's like, "My son would like to meet you." And I'm like, I'm thinking, I'm trying to like run through my brain. How do I know this kid? Where do I know him from? So I just instinctively give him a handshake. He wanted to shake my hand. And his mom was like, "Look, he's like you. He don't wear a mask either." The mom had a mask on. And the son,
right on.
he wanted to come up to me and tell me hello. And the mom wanted to make a spectacle of it because the son refused to wear a mask as well. So I guess I brought a little joy to their lives that day. But I thought that was interesting.
Right on, man.
Well, it's became a stigma. It's like the stigma is if you're wearing a mask, not if you're not wearing a mask. I just don't even think about it. I just don't. I mean, in Florida, you can go out when you go out to a restaurant. Me and my friends were at Ocean Place here. It's probably a week or so ago, and just the oceanfront roadhouse kind of grill. And no one had masks on, no bartenders, no waitresses, no one. And
Florida's becoming a whole new world.
It didn't even occur to me that like this is not the new normal. I'm like, it was just normal.
Go anywhere else, your mind will be blown.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So I guess we
want to move, Tony, and you want to move away.
Well, where I move, if I move, it's going to be out in the boonies, man. There's going to be 50 acres surrounding me. There's a big difference.
People in the boonies ain't wearing masks, I promise you.
Yeah.
I don't care where they at. They're not wearing a mask.
If you see a lot of trucks, you don't see masks.
They eat Corona for breakfast. So it doesn't matter to them. But just like it doesn't matter to me. Getting sick is a part of the human experience. Getting sick is part of being on Earth.
It's just.
Oh, no,
go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, it's just not even logically sound. These people with all their rules,
No.
like even using their own logic and their own thinking, it just doesn't
add up.
Like I just went to go pick up food, and they make you wait outside and they bring out the food and put it on a table. Then you can walk up and get it. It's like a takeout spot. But I didn't have a mask, and so the lady's like, "Where's your mask?" Like I could see her mouthing the words from across the glass. And I'm like, "I don't have one." She's like, "Then sorry, no food, right?" I'm just like, "Just walk out, put it on the table. I'm not next to you." Like it just does. They're not thinking. People don't think for themselves.
Crazy. That's crazy.
I'm not sure if you guys heard about this. I need to like fact check this one, but I remember in passing I heard about something where it's like, well, now that the virus has broken out, we need to and everybody's like, people who are having a lot of sex need to like be like wearing masks or something, and take like special take special care especially if you're having it with more than one partner from somebody outside of your home.
I've seen that.
I'm just like, what?
Like warnings about that stuff. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I feel like I'm in high school again, and they're telling me that where I'm wearing my name tag is not in the right spot, and I never liked that stuff anyway. I'd always put it in different places just to break the rules intentionally because they didn't make no sense.
Yeah,
and so I really feel like I'm living in high school, but guess what? High school, the ones that did obey those crazy rules in high school, they're the same ones obeying the Chinese virus restrictions. So I can't fault them for that. They fell for the same trick in high school. So
good point, man. They just like.
I'm going to read Runaway Train's comment here. Excuse the crudeness, but if you can still smell my farts through that, go through my jeans, through my underwear, through your mask, up your nose, you're not stopping any goddamn virus either.
Some common sense. Thank you, Runaway Train.
Yeah. I love how they're blaming the virus increased by the non-mask wearers, which is I'm the only one that I know that don't wear one besides you fellas. So
I don't wear a fucking mask. Fuck that.
Is it? Yeah, me and you are the cause for it, Anthony. Shit.
Yeah, I don't care. You know what? Some people need to fucking die, man. We need to thin the herd. Some of these motherfuckers out there.
That was the thing too. I remember hearing that a lot. Oh man, I can't wait for a virus to come through, and we have too many people. But now that it's here,
yeah, thin the herd. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking thinning.
This is the main issue, is because if you watch mainstream media, you would think that people were walking through the streets like this, like zombies, and falling dead. You would picture this in your mind. You would think that going down the highway, you would come across flatbeds of bodies stacked with lime in between each one, okay, of course, and that's not happening.
No.
At all.
Did y'all ever watch that movie Contagion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being a good movie. It's been a long time.
It wasn't a
since I've
good
seen
movie.
it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it in theaters way back when, but I'm like, when I think of a pandemic, that's what I think of.
Right.
And I'm like, they wish it was that bad.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if it was that bad, if we're talking like Stephen King's The Stand, like, we're like, don't even bullshit me with like the social distancing and the masks. If we were just proceeding like that with The Stand, I mean, everybody's dead. We're all screwed.
Can I ask y'all a question? So Tony brought up the zombie thing. Anybody ever? I know I can't be the only one that thought about this. People are zombies now, literally zombies.
Yeah, they don't think for themselves.
It's just like, yeah. I mean, has anyone thought, like, they talk about people gonna turn into zombies in the street? People already are zombies.
It's already here.
It's already here. The apocalypse, apocalypse.
This is like the lamest apocalypse situation too. Like apocalypse is supposed to be like, dang, like a crazy like event, but this is like, wear your masks and be socially distanced. Like, wow, this is the apocalypse. Yeah. This is the end.
People like me getting complained to by the store manager, about people like me. So it's like, the zombies don't like seeing the opposite of the zombie guy. I don't know. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude,
I would be the zombie though.
I see couples walking their dog at 4 a.m, and I want to go out there and ask them, do you guys wear your masks in bed when you guys?
Yeah.
the deed and stuff. I just wonder. It's like there's no one else. I mean, what do you think? Is this like a fog that's going around and killing everybody? I don't know. What do you think?
The worst is when I see a couple and it's just the guy wearing a mask. I'm like, what happened there? I'm like, what is going on here?
You know what the messed up thing is? I have a messed up story about that. So early on, like because there was a point we were like never wearing our freaking anything when we were going into like Walmart and whatever. We would just go in, and then at one point we were going in for our groceries, and they're like, "I'm sorry, we can't let you in the store now. You gotta have something on your face." And I'm like, "What? Are you fucking kidding me?" And so it's like, okay. So then we go all the way to like, we took like an Uber all the way to HEB. And then they're like, "No, sorry, we can't let you in unless you have a mask." I'm like, what is going on here? And eventually it got to the point where like, you know, we go in, and my wife is kind of mildly asthmatic. And she's like, "Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to keep this on in here this whole time." And so she just like has it down the whole time. And I'm like, "All right, we'll just see what happens." And like nobody said anything, nobody did anything. But the moment I'm not wearing anything, then the cops come out.
No way, dang. See there.
And I'm in Texas. I'm in Texas, for fuck's sake. Like, what is going on here? But yeah,
you're making people feel dumb.
Yeah.
I feel dumb. I can't wear a mask simply for the fact that I feel stupid. I feel stupid with that on my face.
Yeah.
Lawrence says a great one here, because today when I went to the ATM, a guy pulled up and he had his mask on, and it just like and he's by himself in his Honda, and I'm just thinking to myself, is it really that bad? Is it? I just couldn't comprehend the thought process. What is going through your mind?
Yeah, that's one of the worst ones.
Are you that afraid? Are you that scared?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great question. Are people that afraid of death?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if it's death exactly.
Well, I can say I read this article from Chris Masterjohn. He's a PhD in nutritional sciences. I think some of what he says is very valuable. He's really interesting. But when this whole COVID thing happened, you know, his business took a huge hit, and he finally decided he was going to start, you know, putting out nutritional information regarding COVID. And he wrote this article, and it's called like "What I'm Doing to Not Get COVID or Spread It to Other People" or whatever. And so he's like, okay, so I go to the gym, and every time I touch anything, I scrub my hands down, and then, you know, I do my push-ups, and then I scrub my hands again, and then I do another exercise, and I scrub my hands between exercises. I touch the door, I scrub my hands, and then he's like, and this is the part that killed me. He's like, so I come home, I scrub the light switch, I scrub the bathtub, the bathtub friggin', I don't know what you call that. I can't think of it right now. I scrub the bathtub, and then I wash my hands before I go to bed, and I wash my hands when I wake up. I'm like, what?
Wait, this dude was serious.
What would you say?
He was serious.
Yeah, no irony at all. Zero irony. 100% serious. This guy was terrified, and he's not just doing that. He's not just washing his hands. He's washing his hands so bad that he's getting like friggin' like really bad dermatitis. And I mean, I'm one to talk. I've got my hands all screwed up from like washing dishes and stuff. But like this guy's like scrubbing his hands to death, and he's like constantly pounding down all these supplements. He's like spraying copper down his throat. He's like taking a bunch of zinc and stuff. And it's not all like bad or anything, but you can just feel the paranoia. Like it's really terrible.
They're making themselves sick, literally.
Yeah.
People don't have their own mind. And I think some people really are afraid, but I think, you know what else? I think most people are just following something. They're just being told to think a certain way. Because if people were truly afraid and truly didn't, it's like, wow, I'm doing this because I'm saving lives. Well, if you really, really wanted to save lives, you wouldn't even leave your home.
Yeah,
You wouldn't even
exactly.
leave. I
agree.
I see people doing non-essential stuff, quote unquote,
People-
all the time.
People
Yeah.
will not. People will not. They do not like conflict.
Yeah.
Even if it means bending their values or their beliefs, they do not. They avoid conflict in the worst way, and that's sad. You should not be afraid of conflict if you're a man. You
Okay,
should
guys.
not.
Conflict.
I put a link in the live chat if anybody wants to watch it. It's a video I did on the China virus from February 19th. That was of this year, so check it out. It's pretty crazy because when I look back at it, you can almost see, I don't want to say a little fear, but at February 19th, we weren't quite sure what was going on. So if anybody gets a chance, Gonzo, you might have seen this
I
video.
remember that video. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's is that the one where I said protect yourself and I pull out my 45?
Sure.
I
remember you were talking about, I remember you mentioned how there was, like people, like we just don't know what's going on. Like, what about the mail?
Yeah,
Are you gonna
exactly.
catch this thing through the mail? What's the
Exactly.
deal?
Yeah. So it was basically my take on what I knew back then. And that's funny you say that because I did say, what about your mail? Like it's going to go through the mail. And if you look at when that was, again, in February 19th, when I did that video, there wasn't anything. I don't think there was anything in Florida or Texas at the time.
This thing was a joke to me since day one.
I was there with you, Tony. I remember that too. I was unsure.
Yeah.
I smelled this thing a mile away. I knew it was coming. I knew this stuff wasn't right. I knew it was fear and all the other names we want to talk about it now. I don't want to boast or be arrogant about it, but I knew this was BS from the beginning.
Yep. Same here.
I laughed about it. I said, we're all gonna die, and this kind of stuff.
Well, that's funny you said that because I think the video right after that was called Panic and Fear Porn is what I did.
But it is.
Yep.
It is.
So I don't remember the date on that. Did you watch that one, Gonzo?
I think I have. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I posted that one not that long ago. No, that was Question Everything. But I did one on Panic and Fear Porn. Now, I'm just curious on the date when I did that. And I think before it was, we'll just say before it was popular. And that was on March 13th. So less than a month after I did the coronavirus video. So,
man, I hate to see what would happen if something really deadly came down the pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the
So
stand.
Nick's not the guy from Hollywood, right?
Oh, I am.
Nick's. Are you? Oh, okay.
I'm living in Hollywood.
Okay, yeah. So I take the when I'm on Christmas vacation right now, but to go to work, I take the Gold Line every day. I take public transportation. I take we have a subway here in LA.
Oh yeah.
Real close. I just take it for about 10 miles from Pasadena to Monrovia. And I never wear a mask there. And they say, whatever. So that's kind of my way of, fucking the system.
Yeah.
Saying fuck you. I mean, to go into a market, you're pretty much going to have to wear a mask, I think.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't even be able to, unless a lot of us got together and just put down our masks, say, look, we got a bunch of food here. We're going to pay for it. You can whatever. But I don't know what happened then, but,
Although I make them tell me, though. I walk in, I make them tell me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I like that, too. Yeah, that's good, too.
I walk in without it, and sometimes people don't even say anything. But I don't have enough of that man aura like Tony, where I'm just unbothered.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have.
They zone in on me, and they're
I
like,
gave you the
"They
best
killed this
story
guy to
I
put on his
had,
mask."
right? That was the best story I had, and that was what's today? Today's Saturday. I went shopping on Tuesday, grocery shopping. That's all I got. I wish I had this guy grabbed me and choked me, put the mask on, but nobody has said that to me. So I don't have any good stories about the mask.
Yeah.
I'm getting freaking pulled out by the cops. Friggin'
yeah, that was a good story.
You got angry Karens. You got man.
I don't recommend trying to film an altercation. If someone wants to start an altercation, don't film it. Just what I do, I'm polite as could be. I try to act oblivious about it,
Yeah.
And I just sort of just to avoid, just to sort of give them the little kid, the little kid nod and smile and say, "On your way, pat, get along, little buddy." Kind of do that kind of thing because just.
It's a good MO.
I don't want to be mean to people, but don't come mess with me. Don't waste my time. I ain't trying to waste your time.
You should film it though. You should film something like that. I mean, I'm always ready with my phone. I would be like, "Hang on one second, I got to make a call." And actually, you're just turning on your camera. Oh, they're not there. And you go, "What'd you say?" So you can just do this. You can. I would film anything. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can work your way around it.
Yeah. And I felt for the store manager. I felt for him. He's trying to do his job, which I hate that phrase. I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my job. I hate that.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to bring a good question.
As I can.
I want to go back to the original question of this evening, which was, what hope, positivity can you bring to somebody right now? And what hope and positivity can you bring for 2021?
Okay. Yeah.
Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, that's such a good question. The hope is that you can that everything that you're seeing right now with the world is just another chance to see what's going on inside. It's a time to really come to know yourself, because it's with that knowledge, it's with that self-knowledge that'll prepare you for all things. There's a lot of people overreacting to the world right now. There's a lot of people overreacting to situations that they're going through at home, at work, and all that. But if you just had a moment to be still and took everything joyfully, you will find your way out of anything. And so this coming year is a chance to get it right. It really is, because you really can. And that's kind of that's kind of how I feel about the new year right now.
Yeah.
I want to go to Anthony. Anthony, what we're talking about is hope and positivity for 2021. So give us your take on that.
Well, I think we've learned a lot about our fellow neighbors, and that's a good thing, because you might have had one idea about what people were about, but I think now you have a true sense of what people will do and won't do. And the truth is that people are pretty weak. They're not really prepared for, this virus or whatever the hell this is. And, so that's a good thing to know that. You have to know that. But that also means that if you're kind of in our way of thinking, you're pretty strong guy. You got a lot of advantage. So do the things that we suggest in this stream, which is basically be more self-sufficient and all that kind of stuff. And you're gonna be on the top, man. You're gonna be on the top of everything. You really will. And just keep connected to the people that think like you, like us. And I think that's going to be, and now you know this has really solidified that. And so now you know who thinks what, and now you know how to listen to. And I think that's going to be your best bet for 2021. And we're going to be really better, you know?
Yeah.
Man, you're next.
Yeah, I think this is turning people to look towards guys like us for answers. Not just us, but in particular, but guys that resemble godliness, masculinity, patriarchy. They're looking for answers, even though they may, lash out or resent at first. They're looking for us for answers, and I think it's turning those people to guys like Jesse, to guys like you name them. You can just Elliot Hulse, you name them. And I think the hope is what Nick said. It's time to evaluate yourself. It's a time to evaluate yourself, and that's the hope, in that you can grow as a man because of this, and it's an opportunity to grow. And ain't too much more to say about it. Besides all that, get in the gym, work out, eat better. The whole self-improvement thing. Add that in there too. And I think a lot of people are doing that now as well. Start a business because you can see that if your work's not essential, you're going to lose your job. So start a business and become more independent. And do those things because it's needed more than ever. And that's all I can really say about it. It's a positive thing. It's not a negative thing, like Nick is saying. 2020's been a great year for me as well.
Gonzo?
Yeah, this has really been an incredible year. Like, just to put it in perspective for people, I mean, I had no idea what was going to happen this year. For all I knew, I'd end up homeless on the street or something. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. It was going to be, like, it could have been really, really disastrous. I had no job when I got here in Texas this year, or last year, I guess. And I'm sitting here now, and it's been a full year. I've been here a full year, and it's worked out. And it did not work out in any way that I had planned. Nothing, like I didn't set out and say this is exactly what's going to happen, and here's how I'm going to make it. That never happened. I truly believe it was beyond me. What happened was, this year, after the COVID stuff happened, you had your protests and everything. I ended up going like $5,000 into credit debt just to pay my bills, just to not be homeless. And it got brutal. And then right when I was about to run out, right when things were getting really tough and I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and I was worrying, I ended up getting this job, and it was just pure luck. This gig came through. And what I have noticed, I tell this story because if you're anything like me, for the longest time throughout my whole life, being stuck in the imagination, there's a tendency to worry about things, and there's a tendency to be afraid of the future, and it doesn't even exist yet. And I want to say that in 2021, it's a great time to realize that you do not control your life at all. And I know a lot of people are averted to that idea because it's like, well, of course I control my life. I get up and I go and I do my work and I do all this stuff. And it's like, that may be true, but you are driving a car and you do not control the road. You do not know where the road is going. You can't pick the direction of the road. So, and there may be detours along the way. There may be these things that come up that you don't see coming. And it totally changes the effect of what's going to happen. So don't even pay any thought to what could happen, or and I don't mean don't prepare, don't be ready, but what I'm saying is don't worry about it. Don't be paralyzed by the analysis of what's coming. People are talking about, what if currency What if the US dollar just disappears? What if the US economy collapses? It's good to have things in place in case something like that does happen. But in retrospect, when I look back and I think about all these times I was worrying, I was like, I didn't have to worry at all. It was taken care of. It worked out. And one other quick story. I know a street musician. His name is Val, and he's around here in San Antonio. He's he plays reeds, and he's a violinist, and he's a really cool guy. This guy has been a street musician professionally for 30 years. He's not done any other job. And I asked him once, I said, how do you survive when the rain comes out? How do you survive like the really harsh winters or like the hot summers? And he just looked at me and he said, by the grace of God, that is how I have survived all of this. He's like, I save my money. I save what I can. I do what I can. But really, that's what it is. It is the grace of God, and it has always worked out. So yeah. And there's a bit in Matthew that I think about, but it literally says, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? And it's just such a powerful thing, but I think it's true. I truly believe that. So be prepared, but don't worry in 2021.
Yeah.
Well, I think those are some great thoughts, guys. I really do. I think that's some good wisdom. You guys, most of you guys, except for Anthony, are a lot younger than I am, but the amount of wisdom that three younger guys have should be a lighthouse to other guys that are watching this. Anybody who's younger, take a look and see that we've got Gonzo who's 22, Nick who's 26, Man who is 33, Anthony who's 65, and joking, but yeah, take this wisdom even from younger guys, because I think wisdom is something that I guess it's learned, or it's it's cultivated, I guess is a good word too. So, but take that wisdom from these guys and take what you can from it, for sure.
Guy JC piqued my interest a lot, because he's going towards the direction, and I think he's going in the right direction. And if he's watching, I just want to encourage him to keep searching. He's on the right track.
Yeah, I always get, and you can call this prejudice, whatever you want, but as soon as somebody says they're from the Northwest, oof, talk about a trigger for me. Just because when somebody says they're from Oregon, or Washington State, oh man, I take a step back, because I'm not quite sure where they're coming from. And that's why I had to ask him his social situation and, where he's from, because I think the demographic of where somebody's from, especially now, whatever, you can call it prejudging somebody, but that makes a difference when somebody's speaking.
Well, look at Anthony and Nick. They're in California.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But I grew up when men were men and women were scared.
Right on, man. Respect.
Yeah. It's just respect. I grew up in a regular time. California wasn't always the crazy place it was. It used to be a pretty good place, and all my years growing up, it was a good place. In the last 20 years, it's probably become crazy, but it's only because we let it become crazy.
The last time we had the California guys on, I had to play this for you, so I'm going to play it for you right now, Anthony, and for Nick.
Yeah. Dude, I played that on the airplane. I was getting so kitschy about it, but I was like, oh, no way, I'm going to California.
Yeah, that's to me that's
Yeah.
classic. When anybody says they're, welcome to the wild, wild west. So
Wasn't Kellen Dell from California? Oh, they were from Canada.
they're from Canada. Yeah.
Canada, okay.
Yeah.
They
So
found Anthony's ladder. Yeah.
They love Anthony.
But you know, all these gangsters, they're not down with any of this bullshit.
Hey, can we pull that up during
I
the
guarantee you, you know what? That's what I would love to do. I would love to do is show you guys how the hood lives, like with the mask thing and all that. They don't do any of that. They don't do any of that bullshit because they're real. The hood's real. The real hood is real. They don't do any of that.
I believe
I'm frozen now, but I'm telling you that, guys, in the real hood, they don't do any of that. None of this stuff. They're just practical people. They do none of this bullshit.
Yeah, same for the people out in the rural communities as well. Hey, can y'all play that preview of the Saturday Night Live? Can y'all play that on screen without, maybe hooking it up somehow? Can y'all do that?
Gonzo is the only one that could do that. He would have to add it on.
I'm not sure if I know there's a way in StreamYard where you can actually play video files.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to do it. I'm afraid if I touch my computer right now, I'll dump the whole stream.
Yeah,
you'll probably something on the right. Do you have something on the right side of your screen, Tony, with where it says like video clips or something?
Yeah, I can share screen. I have it right down at the bottom because I'm a moderator. Yeah, but I'm afraid to touch it. I need to practice with it a little bit more because the second I touch it, I'm sure we'll all disappear.
Maybe someone can show that on screen, on camera.
Actually, wait, I can just pull it up on my phone. What am I talking about here?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can pull it up on my phone.
Oh, yeah, actually, if somebody wants
but
to do that,
I don't think it'll transfer well over the phone like it would if it was a video.
Yeah. That was great.
So
careful with copyright.
Yeah,
I'm always careful about
that. Commentary, right, Nick?
What's that?
You have to do commentary every few seconds for something, so you don't.
Yeah, and even then, you still got to be careful.
Yeah.
So remind me why Nick doesn't have a face.
What's that?
Anthony, do you know who Nick is?
I don't have a camera.
Oh, yeah, right. You have a phone.
Anthony, just so you know, that is Nick Gonzalez. He is the producer of the Jesse Lee Peterson show.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Incredible job. Watch him every day. Excited when he gets on the panel. So
it's a pleasure, Tony. I appreciate you inviting me. I'm just produced for Jesse. I'm blessed to do what I do, but I'm happy to be here. It's just a lot of fun. This is really cool.
I love those guys on the Jesse Lee Peterson. Man, I resonate with him so much. He just brings a peace of mind. He brings a peace of mind.
Yeah,
I like Jesse Lee Peterson. He's good. I don't know if he's wrong or right, but he's definitely sure of himself, and
he's a good guy, man. He also beats you up in the office. He just punches you sometimes. I'll be sitting at my desk, and then suddenly he'll grab my hair and then just punch me.
Good for him.
And I'm like, "You want to fight?" And he's like, "I'll beat you. You don't want to do that. I'll lay you out. I'll lay you down." And I kind of believe him.
I kind of believe him too.
Yeah,
he benches more than me. That's for sure. I'm trying to get up there.
Shit.
He actually benches more than me. He actually works out.
So where's Jesse? Is Jesse Lee Peterson in L.A.?
Yeah, he's in L.A.
Oh no, shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Pico en la Ciénaga.
Church.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we need to get Anthony to your church.
Anthony, man, you gotta come by Pico en la Ciénaga. It's called Bond. You come by for church, or at least come by for one of our men's forums. If you don't want to
I'll come by. I mean, since the Catholic Church is closed, I guess.
But we're still
might as well.
operating. We're still going.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's good. Yeah, definitely go somewhere.
No masks here. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm definitely there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish they had a church like that near me. I
know.
So Jesse's my church tomorrow morning.
Right on, guys.
I'll be there.
Yeah, go there.
Hey, listen, guys. We're going to wrap it up, but I do want everybody and everybody who's on the live panel right now, you can stay on for the after party, I call it. But I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know you can find me at Tony Bruno, T21 Surfer on all social media. That's Parler, Instagram, and Twitter at T21 Surfer. Of course, this channel, Tony Bruno, T21 Surfer. Gonzo, how can everybody find you?
You can find me at Gonzo School on YouTube. Like I said, I'm having some trouble with my websites, so it'd be gonzoschool. Beta. Web hosting beta. But yeah, it's gonzoschool.com. That's where you can find me if you happen to watch this after the fact.
Nick, how can everybody find you if you want people to find you?
Well, I'll watch the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I'm always there. I'm always producing the show and doing my thing. But if you want to follow my Twitter, just recently getting that going, it's at Gorgonzola. But that's HOLA at the end, like the cheese and the hello in Spanish. Gorgonzola.
Okay. Hola.
Exactly.
Man?
Yeah, this is my Instagram, mantidote, like antidote. And you can find me at Primal Man, PRIMAL, Primal Man on YouTube. And that's it. Okay.
And Anthony, we know you don't want to be found. So how can everybody not find you?
You cannot find me now. Maybe at the in next year I will be found, but I don't know what capacity. I'm not sure. But
hey, can we close out the show with the preview?
Oh yeah, here. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I'm gonna try using the webcam mic here. So let's see how this works. Here we go. If not, it'll be good fun anyway. Okay. All right. Let's see. I had it pulled up here. Is that the right one? All right.
Will be your name. Okay. Maybe I should.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, you got it?
That's good.
This is the most fun I had in a long time, by the way. Yeah, I like being. I do my own podcast, but I like being a guest more than.
Hey,
I like
Tony, go full screen.
I feel like if you've dealt with reporters and dealt with the media, the world becomes much clearer. Actually, what's more confusing because everything is a lie. You realize because, like, once you've dealt with them, you realize that they're lying all the time.
They actually came to you. They came to you with the quote they wanted you to say. Doesn't matter how I would teach you to say it. They're going to sit there until you say it. Yeah. And we're going to cut that clip, and that's the interview.
Tony Bruno, that guy seems like the real shit. Oh, I'm the real. Yeah, that's all right. Hell yeah.
Turn to strong men. That's all I can say. Educate yourself. Be knowledgeable. Don't be blind and turn off the damn news.
What can I say? I mean, you just brainwash yourself with the truth. I'd hate for people to misconstrue this conversation as being an apologist for just being a violent dick, because that's not the case. I'm talking about the legitimate place of violence in a civilized society. Well, I got escorted by police out of Walmart. Normally, I will just wear the goddamn mask because, otherwise it's like I'm just not going to eat. Let me tell you, this was an empty Walmart. Just about. Thought you the self-checkout, go ahead, get my stuff. I get there, and within a minute, there's a cop behind me, and he pulls me out, throws me out of there. That's ridiculous. Did the cop have a mask on? Yeah. Was it a woman? No. Okay. Are you sure? Anything's possible. He could have been a lizard man for all I know.
Okay. We're so dependent upon these machines for our communication that for any reason, whether it be civil unrest, whether it be martial law, whether it be suspension of whatever, our dollar collapses, whatever could happen, we can lose our ability to communicate and share information just like that. So we have to have a plan for continuity of communications. We have to be able to continue to bring forth our message and communicate. Because if you can't bring forth your message and communicate, you cannot rally. You cannot do anything.
Tony Bruno, man. He just been smoking weed the whole time, and that's what makes him fucking cool. That's all there is to it. If you just sit there and smoke weed all the time, you're fucking cool. It is to it. You know what, Anthony? You're living in a fake forest. I see the ladder. Are you on some kind of fucking movie set?
That's it.
That's hilarious.
Right on.
That's a great trailer that Gonzo did.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a
Funny
great
stuff.
little trailer for our Saturday night live stream. We had a couple wild men. We had a couple wild men on tonight, I guess, right? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking propaganda going on around here, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We got Lars says, "Have a great night, gentlemen. See you next time. Thanks for the camaraderie." Awesome. Thanks for being here the whole time. Appreciate you, brother.
Awesome.
So again, any guys on the panel right now, you want to stay on for the after party for a few minutes? Let's do it. But everybody else, cheers, man. And I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right. Y'all have a good one.